Mum, why won't you let me watch the
Dexperience.
Hey, Dexter!
Hi, Dexters.
Today we're talking about episode 23, Haunted
With
Cadabra. You're listening with Logan,
Dennis.
Oliver.
Harry.
His name's Shiv.
Yeah, I'm Harry. What's up? How are we all doing today?
Hi.
Good
I'm doing good. I got my onesie on right now.
Dennis is glowed up.
Feeling.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I went with Logan.
He can finally get into the bear community. It's great.
Oh, whoa.
I'm
Maybe
just in
someone will finally
disguise.
cuddle him.
I feel like these roasts are unwarranted. I mean, I didn't even.
Guys, the
I didn't
episode
even-
just started.
I didn't even say anything, and you guys are just like roasting me. For what reason?
Does it have pockets?
It does have pockets.
That's handy. That's actually good. I didn't think it had pockets. That makes its usefulness got peaked.
I don't know what you mean. So
I missed something like that. It's slightly too big.
we'll get in.
I'm literally crying.
Oh my gosh. What is... See what I gotta work with? You just... Can I just make an announcement that we gotta
So, guys, Cadabra versus...
Oh my gosh.
But before we do that, we've all thought of
Well,
pickup
we didn't
lines.
even go for how we're all doing.
I feel like we're all good now. We're all
Oh
good.
my gosh.
We're all doing well.
I'm still recovering.
So we all thought of Pokemon pickup lines.
Uh-huh.
So pickup lines incorporating Pokemon. Dennis, do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And we're going to say whether or not it would work on us.
Okay.
You can even have a setting in mind. If you
Okay.
want
So we're at let's say we're at a nice busy restaurant.
Okay.
And then, and then I see you from across. You're at the bar having a drink from a martini glass.
Okay.
You've been
Picturing it.
fingering the olive.
Is it
You've just finished the drink, and you're like, should I eat the olive or should I not?
was it
How am I feeling? Am I feeling like an olive or not?
Was it
Yeah.
a dirty martini or was it not?
What's the difference?
Dirty martinis have a bit of olive juice shaken up in it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Gross.
Olive juice?
Yeah.
Who drinks
So
olive
it's like,
juice,
and
juice,
it was
juice.
just like, do you eat the olive from a martini glass that has an olive in it? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're contemplating.
You're contemplating that,
And then you come up to us.
and then
Yeah,
from
we
across
are.
the room, you see me just sauntering to you.
No one.
With my sexy eyes,
Okay.
and I'm just scanning the room some sort of in the Mean Girls when they're walking in slow motion and swoosh, swoosh, swoosh.
And what's your
and-
pickup line?
And so I arrive at there, and then you look me up and down. I'm wearing a suit, and I have a bow tie on. My hair's slicked back, and I'm like, hey, you make my Jigglypuff. How about you and me float away to get some rest?
Yeah, it's not a good sign, is it?
Logan, what's the reaction?
Yeah.
Okay,
What do you
well-
think? What do you think?
I'd eat my olive
Yeah.
and then walk out of the restaurant.
What?
Oh,
I would.
Would you pay?
Well, I mean, I feel like you pay first in New Zealand normally.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have also eaten my olive. Probably flicked a toothpick at you after that.
Oh,
What?
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
And leave.
Oliver,
Oliver?
I would have.
are you going home with Dennis?
I'm giving you a psychoanalysis on the spot, and I'm hitting you where it hurts.
Psych major.
What?
Guys, which means meant to be.
Oh my god,
Can I
guys!
go
I'm
next?
Of course.
I'm majoring in
Yeah,
psych.
of
Okay.
course.
Yeah. Hey. Thank you.
You ready for your pickup?
Yeah. So all right. Setting. I want you to imagine.
I don't know. We're doing settings.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay.
we got children's playground. We got.
I
we
feel
got-
like
we
I
got-
feel-
I don't like
Children's
that.
playground. No, continue,
From the
Oliver.
ages to 4 to 7, we got multiple kiddies on the playground. You got the monkey bars. You got a slide. You can hear in the distant
We're gonna
little
get cancelled.
screams and joy of children. There you
This is
are.
scary.
You're there sitting on the bench.
What?
You're there.
Just staring at the 4 to 7-year-old.
You're sitting on the bench with one hand on your pram with a baby in it, and you're watching your little kitty. You're watching a little kitty on the playground.
Is
Yeah,
this a
you're
real baby? I'm a father?
You're a mother or father of two.
We're a single
You're
parent.
Yeah, you're a
Oh
single
my
parent.
gosh. This
rocking
is
the pram.
terrifying.
Why is it terrifying?
I don't... fatherhood.
Okay, no,
Scary.
it's okay. But in the scenario, you're just watching your kid. Just make sure
What
your
happened
kid's
to my
alright.
wife?
I have 2 kids.
It's up to you, dude.
How many
She leave me on so sad.
Am I a single father?
And yeah, and the bench, it's got space for 2.
Okay.
I walk up, pushing my pram.
Wait, you have a pram as
I
well?
got a pram as well.
You're also a single
I'm
parent.
also a single parent.
So relatable.
Do you have a baby in that pram, or is it
walk
just
up.
like a cover for you to be...
That's
just
not
a-
for me to
It's
reveal.
just a
Oh my
watermelon.
Uh-huh.
So I walk up my pram, and I notice there's a spot next to you.
What's your line?
And I come and sit. I sit down. I come and sit down. Get my pram, and I'm like, "Hey there, hey, how's it going?" I'm saying,
Oh, hey.
just get.
Did you write it down?
I did, just to make sure. I look at you, just dead in the eyes, and I say, "You better butterfree up your schedule, or else I'll have you basket limping in the morning."
Oh, okay.
That was okay, I
I'm
guess.
forgetting my baby and
Yeah.
kid. Yeah,
What?
The thing,
I'm going home with you.
Nice.
The thing is, okay.
I'm forgetting my recently
That was
deceased
on
wife.
par with my line,
The thing,
surely.
no, the thing is, the line was great, but the setting put me off.
That setting was
Yeah.
unusual. Because
You,
now...
you could have
it's like-
you could have said that in a bar, not at a. No,
I wanted a non-traditional setting
So
where.
you chose a park with kids.
Yeah, no. Where
To
people
ask about having sex.
Like, he's got his baby right there in front of him.
Single parents might not think
Oh,
that
shit.
love can be there in the future. However, it always can be.
not
Yeah,
love,
my
that's just sex,
character's
isn't it?
wife just got deceased, just died.
Yeah.
Go.
It's a bit insensitive.
Actually, it's like,
but
it's
you know,
like,
I'm in a
it's-
vulnerable state,
yeah.
so I'll
Exactly.
just jump your
Yeah.
balls.
Thank you.
It's the first time I've left the house since sadly she passed.
Yeah.
And like,
So how you?
I'm like, I don't feel good about it, man. I just wanted a good time in the park watching my kids. Like, try to forget about the trauma of the passing
Yeah.
the passing mother.
We're getting so in depth with these backstories.
So what?
But, you know, if you
This
said
is
that,
like-
if you said
this
that in a
is theatre
pub like
majors
2
right
months
here.
later, then sure.
So you'll be here at the pub, but at the park, you're
Nah,
not
not
digging
park,
it.
not
Dennis?
Like, surely, this is you don't want to go to Bone Town straight away, Oliver. You want to, like, go
No,
on a
this
date
is like-
first. Especially if you're parents. You
Yes.
need you're not looking for, like a bone station.
Maybe you are.
You're looking for the love boat, right? You're looking
Maybe
for...
some people, not necessarily.
But you want that connection. Like, I've kind of realized that. Like,
Yes, okay.
it's like...
Yeah, it's just a
You-
psychological breakthrough.
You just
When
like...
you go to the park and you watch your kids at the park, you.
Yep. If I'm
Dennis
like...
goes to the park, someone's calling the
If I'm...
Because you're like an old man. You're not on. Because you're a 20-year-old man.
26-year-old.
Like
Closer to 30.
Mid 20-year-old man, like going in the park.
It's not good.
You know, a lot of the time it's actually like there's like signs saying that like if you don't have a kid, you can't go near.
What, really?
Yeah, maybe more overseas, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's sad that
Especially
has
if
to
the
be a
man
thing.
with
Yeah.
the can.
I'm glad you liked the line.
I enjoyed the line.
Yeah, the Pokemon was basculin. I don't know if you know
I like
that
the.
Pokemon.
I
yeah.
prefer the basculin part over the butterfree.
Yeah,
part.
I'd heard the Butterfree one online, but I added my own little
Okay.
Alright.
basculin.
Do you wanna
Okay,
hear mine?
Logan, go.
Okay,
Oh,
so
fuck! Oh, mine stands up. I've got one last.
we're at the beach.
Oh, nice setting.
It's like
The kids around.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
the median age is 47.
Oh my god.
That was a joke.
Why are there children everywhere?
We're at a beach. It's like middle of
You know what you gotta do.
we're middle of summer.
In
Nice,
Wellington
okay.
or?
No,
Right.
at like a more nice beach.
North Shore. Auckland.
Tauranga.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
not? Well, why don't we go
somewhere-
like Bondi, Sydney?
Somewhere more in like
Because it's
somewhere
Bondi in Sydney.
somewhere further up north
Yeah.
where the beaches are nicer.
Yeah.
Where the beaches are
and you-
nicer.
We're just we're like I'm lying there,
North Shore.
you're lying there. We made eye contact in the water.
Oh.
In the
Some-
water.
in the water.
While we
So
were
you're
swimming. No, we're not in the water now.
Okay.
But there was some flirty smiles going on.
So you were
Okay.
just swimming and checking out like people while you were
Well,
swimming.
normally when you're in the water at the beach, you're not swimming like that. You're kind of playing
Just
in the
floating
waves.
around.
yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the jellyfish.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you
Jellyfish?
and then so it's been
You
like
thrill a
it's been like
starfish.
fire. It's been like like I'm about to leave the beach and I
Yeah.
see you're still there. So I walk up to you and I say, "This may be far fetched,
Oh.
Oh, I could
but
already.
maybe you and me go have a slow poke."
Oh my god.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Good.
Oh. You know what? That's it. Right in the stand.
Boo. That was good. It was
Excellent.
good.
Yeah.
It was just like, it just. But the thing is, like, those are like, that's something that would be like, you wouldn't know that it was a Pokemon
Exactly.
reference.
I think that's
I think
pretty
that,
good.
That's
yeah,
good.
I think that was
Yeah.
the poke. The point he was going
Guy
for.
was slowpoke.
Oh.
Because this person on the beach might not know about Pokemon, but if they do, they get that extra sense of enjoyment.
It works on 2 levels.
That was great.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
That was
Okay,
you,
yeah,
Harry.
yeah, that was
Oh,
good. That was
okay.
good.
I'm
Okay.
bad at pickup lines in real life, but we'll try my best. So this is probably around setting will be like the second or third date in already.
Wait.
So you've already met.
What,
this
you're doing a
person.
pickup line on
On
the
the
third
I am.
date?
I am.
Okay,
Okay.
Let me-
I see where your
let me
where
go
your
with
problems with pickup lines comes from. If you're using them on the third date, you haven't picked them up just quite
No,
yet.
that's the whole point, though. Like, you guys have gone out for coffee once, you've gone out for a drink another time, and now you're out on like an actual lovely date. You're strolling around the town, you're listening to music
In
maybe.
Wellington?
Dual headphones.
Hey, whatever,
You got
dual
the-
headphones. with
Is
some
that like a
music.
good third date, like strolling around the town?
I don't know.
I'd go. I'd do
Um,
that on like a first date.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like first date.
But like you can do it for
But
third
then,
date,
but yeah,
right?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
like you
can
can
do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you got.
There's
you
no
got,
rules.
You got dual
Third
headphones
date
going. You
normally
maybe
means
sneak in
turkey,
some
okay.
clubs, so you listen to your music. Why not? You're having
Oh,
a
yeah.
good time.
Cool.
And you just you exhaust the night away about 1 or 2 a.m. maybe.
Oh.
You walk them back to their place, and you ask, "Is there a chancey I can stay with you tonight? We could maybe have a little bit of a seismic toss, and then possibly rest and relax, and a bit of a soft boil throughout
Oh.
the night."
Oh, you took the move
was good,
approach.
that was
You
good.
took-
That was good.
I'm not
That's
sure
slick.
I'm not sure how I feel about saying soft in a pickup line.
Well, like the soft boil because there's a rest that you recharge, so you just
Oh, yeah.
you're cuddling afterwards.
Seismic toss sounds very
I
aggressive.
really- that-
To me, you want to go with seismic
It's
toss?
the only like attacker move chance you can learn. Like I was sticking with the chancy
Yeah.
theme.
All right.
I liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that was
did.
good. It was good.
I'd let you into my home.
For a seismic toss.
Okay, so who do we want to vote and
Who
see?
do you think won? Okay. Should we do worst and best?
Okay.
Worst. It's between these two. Okay?
Oh.
Oliver and Dennis. Oliver's line is better,
But
but
setting's
his setting was
worse.
terrible. Dennis had one of the.
Kind of a
Dennis had one.
unique
Dennis had a
setting.
very appropriate setting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but his line wasn't as good.
Okay, well, what was the challenge? The challenge was the line.
The line. Yeah. You
No,
know,
it was a
So-
situation. The situation calls
No.
for the line.
I think
it
Dennis
comes together.
had the worst line. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Okay.
and-
I accept
and
that.
What was your best? Are we excluding voting ourselves?
I think
Yeah.
mine was the best.
Logan's was the best.
You can't vote, but I mean, it
But
was
Logan's
the
was the best.
What was
it?
What was it?
This may be far fetched.
Logan's is definitely the best.
But would you like to go for a slow
So
path?
the
Okay.
ranking I'd give would be
Now look at me when you
Logan
say.
on top. The ranking I'd give would be Logan on top, me,
Yeah.
Oliver. Dennis.
I thought
Yeah,
mine.
I'd agree with that
I
100%.
thought mine was a bit funnier than Harry's.
Nah,
No,
Harry's
well,
is
okay,
better.
I just it's so
Plus, like,
bizarre.
Harry had a nice-
picking up something.
Harry had a nice setting.
When you're all
you
single,
around
when you're
kids.
single parents,
You make
you'll
me a single
understand.
parent. I don't want to be a single
Well, you
parent.
might be.
Oliver. Don't
Why-
scare me like
Why
that.
are we all getting divorces / like
Yeah.
being miserable in our future with 2 kids? Like,
Because you're at a vulnerable
I like how you're
state.
like everyone has a pram.
If we're coming to
Everyone
you-
in this universe has a pram.
if we're coming to you for marriage counseling, but you're a bad psychologist. Yeah, you should rethink your major.
No, he's
That's
like-
all I'm saying.
Oliver says to the couples who are having problems, like, you guys need to split up and go to parks. And pray."
Yeah.
Mr. Clues.
I've gotta have, look, if you have a kid or not, you got to have a pram. Doesn't matter.
It's like it's essential part of being
Just
an
the
adult.
symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you gotta have a pram.
Right, guys. So
Should we,
Oh my
Dennis, do you want to
God.
give us a description?
Okay.
Haunted
So,
versus Kadabra.
The conclusion of one of my favorite like arcs of the Pokemon Kanto,
Fuck, that was a good game.
Pokemon Kanto,
I was considering saying
Serious.
choke you.
Oh,
oh, you should have. That would have won. That would have won.
he already did win. So.
Yeah.
Recap this. I'm gonna put my mic down so I don't
Okay.
distract.
I'll make your Venus
Yes.
sore.
while I try and recover.
Okay. If people want to send us like Pokemon
Yeah,
pickup lines,
that's a
we'll
good
read them
idea.
out and
Yeah.
then we'll like
Can I
discuss.
enter your goal bad?
The giant mouth.
Quit while you're ahead,
Can I
Logan.
can I
Quit while you're
explore
ahead.
your-
Logan, you're not in frame, Logan.
Can I explore your rock tunnel?
Oop, Scooch in, you two.
Ew.
Okay, so this is one of my most favorite Kanto arcs, the conclusion.
ridiculous
is
road.
of Haunter vs. Kadabra. So Ash arrives back at Saffron.
Lavender
Yeah.
Town.
No, they're back at Saffron.
Oh, they're back at. Sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
they're back at Saffron Town, and they're walking. Misty seems to like BFFs with Haunter, and it's quite funny because like now Brock is the one that's kind of terrified of being like around the ghost Pokemon Haunter, but Ash and Misty are fine. It's kind of like reminds me of like when Misty was afraid of Caterpie.
Rest in peace, Butterfree.
Okay, so
So?
they get to the gym. And they're like about to go in, but Brock and Misty are like too afraid to go in because obviously they got almost like died in Wii Bowling with Sabrina's like doll child thing. And
Do you think
okay.
that was the inspiration for Wii Bowling?
Yeah. Ash faces off Sabrina. It's full of confidence that Haunter is gonna show. Haunter essentially ghosts Ash, and so
He's a ghost.
yes. And then so Ash is like, oh my gosh, and then he looks at his Pokemon. They're also terrified to battle. So then Ash decides that like his only recourse to avoid being like shrunken down into like a dollhouse again is to run. So basically Ash and his Pokemon and Brock and Misty run, but unfortunately Brock and Misty get caught and they get turned into dolls, which is like scary. And then but before Ash and his Pokemon get turned into dolls, the jogger from 2 episodes ago that teleported them out the first time teleports in and teleports Ash and his Pokemon out. And
It's Grandpa Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh.
and then we get some backstory about Sabrina, about how she was like her personality split into 2 because
So she was like more focused on the psychic powers, and she would lock away her desires to want to kind of
Like-
hang out with people.
like her human side, yeah.
So
And then-
her body physically split into
Yeah.
2 to create 2 personalities.
And like as she's the photograph that the jogger shows her, and Ash is like, oh, if you have this photograph, that must mean you're a photographer. Team Rocket, we cut to Team Rocket, and they're like saying their motto as they're cleaning some windows, as they become window washers.
Yeah.
They gotta make money somehow, I guess. And then there's some slapstick where Team Rocket kind of end up being scared by Haunter and like are clinging on for dear life. And then Haunter is like trying to like make Jessie laugh. Jessie kind of falls once Haunter makes her laugh. And then we cut to Brock and Misty stuck as dolls in the house. And then they talk to another doll for I guess like telekinetic energy or something, and she's like, "Oh, don't blame Sabrina.
Yeah, what the song
It's alright.
Yeah.
I'm just a doll. It's fine."
It's her mum.
It's her
yeah.
mother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
So,
great.
Yeah, I can forgive my daughter. She turned me into a doll. and
She's great.
enslaved me.
Yeah.
I get it.
So and then Haunter,
I do
Ash
the same.
Ash finds Haunter. Ash gets ghosted again by Haunter, which I'm like,
He's a
I
ghost.
can relate to that. And why stop touching? Okay,
It's nice. I haven't felt it yet.
all right.
What's the insert?
Yeah, what's going on here?
Oh my gosh, they're like touching my onesie right now.
Yeah, they can see.
Ash has to be like, how am I gonna deal with this? And then Pikachu suddenly steps up and he's like, I'm gonna fight for you, Ash. And it's like a really touching moment where Pikachu like decides to defend Ash, and it's really sweet. And then so Pikachu goes up against Kadabra and uses a Thunderbolt, and it actually hits, which is so like,
Shocking.
Hit him with the thunder.
which is
Literally.
quite shocking. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, Haunter appears right beside him
Yeah.
and starts like doing some japes similar to how it was doing with Jessie, and then he brings out like this cartoonish like bomb, like a cartoonish bomb, and it explodes, and then you got like Sabrina with soot all over her face, and this kind of makes it crack up, and then she just starts laughing and laughing and laughing, and because of her psychic link to Kadabra, Kadabra is also laughing and totally incapable of battle.
I like Kadabra's laugh.
Yeah, and and so Ash gets the Marsh badge, and Sabrina turns everyone back to normal.
Oh, yeah, like, sorry, just Ash getting the Marsh badges. We can.
We'll get into that.
Get into
It's all
that.
one
Um,
big day with S Machina.
Team Rocket, everyone's back to normal. Everyone gets saved except Team Rocket, who gets cement poured on them, and they decide to head to Celadon City to get the next badge.
Yeah.
What gym's at Celadon?
That is the grass type. It's Erica.
The
Erica.
rainbow
He's gonna
badge?
mess that gym up, isn't he?
He's got Charmander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And
gonna
a
just set
Pidgeotto.
fire to the whole place.
Yeah.
Erica is the conventional 4th gym leader, but
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
for,
they
it for
put-
number 5.
And then this is Marsh is normally
Marsh
6.
badge, which I have right here.
Whoa!
Oh, Harry's wearing a Marsh badge.
I'm better than Ash. I just bought this.
Um,
6th gym, but Ash got it 4th, which
Yeah.
you can do in the games as well.
So yeah, what do we think about this episode?
I was like, there's another funny photographer joke at
Oh,
the
yeah,
end
yeah.
when like the dad's like, "This is the happiest she's ever been since she was like a baby or something," and Ash is like, "Wow, that means you must have been the baby photographer."
yeah.
It's really good.
good.
That gag is
The
good.
dad, I don't know the actual voice actor's name, but it's the same voice as Grandpa Yugi.
Oh, that's
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
That's why I brought it up midway through that recap.
Oh,
okay.
Because it is Grandpa Yugi.
It is.
I
It
like,
was,
I
like-
like
Yeah.
linking all the Yu-Gi-Oh voice actors because Yu-Gi-Oh sometimes
Yu-Gi-Oh.
It was it was so obvious that this was the
Yu-Gi-Oh
dad.
sometimes
It
too.
is, yeah. And like it kind of they confirm that it's a dad, and like it's weird that they reuse the dad of the thing. There's
It
like a
looks
lot of
like Brock's dad as
Yeah,
well.
there's, like,
a
same,
lot of-
same kind of out like.
Didn't know
beard
that.
and-
I wonder if like whoever's
Wait,
like
you didn't know it was the
writing-
dad?
No, sorry, I didn't know like look like Brock's.
Ah.
Yeah, I thought it was the photographer. That's what they said.
It's like whoever's been writing these episodes has like a dad issue,
Well,
like because like this is the second like distant father figure in like as like 4 gym leaders, right?
Moving.
Yeah, and like you don't see you don't see Ash's father for one,
yeah.
and like
And Mr.
Mr.
Mime.
Mime.
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Yeah, what do you
Mime.
mean you don't see Ash's father?
Yeah.
Of course, we see him all the
Um,
time.
Weakest out of the 3 for me.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I would say the Haunter episode was weaker.
I would
I enjoyed
say
it more.
that one and this one were on the same.
Yeah.
I feel you could have combined those 2 episodes actually.
Mm.
The reason why I enjoyed it still, but for me there was nothing to this episode.
Yeah.
We spent all our time getting the Haunter, and the Haunter's not even used.
That's
True.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think from like a narrative point, it's like promising this battle,
Yeah, exactly.
and then it just kind of wimps on it, and it
Yeah.
doesn't like
I-
go through with
I
this
like-
like
The
like-
Pikachu part is sick,
the Pikachu
though.
part's nice.
where
but-
Pikachu like goes to
Steps up.
defend
Yeah,
Ash. Yeah,
it's
That's a
nice,
nice
but
part.
like Pikachu's done it many times, and Pikachu could do it many more times.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Haunter versus Kadabra.
yeah.
That's why
You
it's
know,
called
like
as
we
well.
never see a ghost Pokemon. We haven't seen a ghost Pokemon fight like
Yeah.
in a
No.
battle.
Yeah, because
and,
we
like-
only saw
Except with
Ghast.
Gengar versus Nidorino at the very start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also saw, and we only saw Ghastly turn into
A woman.
like a mongoose.
Yeah, we
So-
saw
Oh,
what
yeah.
they're capable
That's
of,
weird.
but like we never see them like use like actual ghost type moves or.
Mhm.
I mean, Haunter uses Lick in the last episode
Yeah,
against
it just-
Charmander.
It would have been nice to see.
Yeah, there definitely were there were expectations for this episode,
Yeah.
you know, and they weren't met. That doesn't necessarily mean it's
Yeah.
bad. It's just kind of
'Cause, like-
what I thought going
It was,
into
it
it.
was,
No,
it was just the
definitely.
first time we weren't given what we were promised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Haunter's essentially a MacGuffin, which,
Mm. What's a
if
MacGuffin?
in narrative terms, thank you for asking, Oliver, because now I can explain it in a very natural way.
That was very natural. You did it.
It's the MacGuffin is the like a thing that drives a story forward. For example, it's like anything
Plot
that
device.
it's like kind of like a plot device. It's a thing that like the people are striving towards,
Mhm.
like to kind of further the plot. So like in Star Wars, for instance, you need a thing to find out where the other thing is, and then something like that. So it's like,
Ewoks.
yeah, like Ewoks. I'm trying to think like the GS ball from later on in the Pokemon series is a
Spoilers.
big MacGuffin in that
Yeah,
it's used to
that
advance
is.
the plot
Mhm.
and get them to go places. And so like Haunter was that, and like to devote that much time an episode to it, and then like be like, oh, this Haunter is gonna be amazing, and then like to not go through with that,
Mhm.
I think was majorly like
Bad
disappointing.
writing.
It also like would probably disappoint you if you're a kid being like, okay,
Exactly.
Haunter's gonna fight and it's be awesome.
I could have forgiven it if Pikachu actually managed to KO the
Kadabra?
Kadabra, but
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
didn't. It
Yeah.
was all of a sudden it was the third badge out of the 4 he's got that he hasn't legitimately.
He hasn't
Yeah,
actually
I
won.
thought it was so like I was like the dad is like, where's the dad's authority?
Yeah,
as
he's
well?
not an official.
He shows
Yeah.
up out of
Yeah.
nowhere and he declares Pikachu the winner.
Yeah.
well,
Out of nowhere.
Well, and this is like another thing. Like they're still kind of spotty on whether there are referees for these gym battles.
Yeah.
Because the last one had a referee.
Mhm.
What was that like?
No Surge.
Surge
Yeah.
had a referee, but then
Right.
this one didn't. And then I guess the father kind of played that role.
I guess another interesting actually thing after this episode is Sabrina gets all that backstory and stuff, but she never says sorry. She actually never says
She
sorry.
never apologized.
It's like
Yeah.
it
I
feels
mean-
like they cut it out almost because like at the end she's waving goodbye
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
I mean, if
yeah.
you were like a boss
And they get
bitch,
Haunter as well.
Sabrina, and you could like turn people into dolls and transmute them into anything and like put their souls and create like visions, would you apologize for like?
Yes.
Yes, knowing that you turned your mother into a
To a
doll.
doll.
Yeah, but I feel like
To
yeah.
innocent
I feel
people
like-
into dolls.
because I mean like because you said she's super cool and stuff.
Yeah.
What she can do is cool, but I think the character isn't like cool
To
because
me-
like they don't do anything with
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
character.
exactly. To me, there's no character there, and this would have been the episode to really bring on. Like, you could have brought a really sadistic side of Sabrina in here, and they kind of teased it with turning people into dolls. But there's so much more they could have done, so much more
Yeah.
potential. But instead, they just made her laugh.
The thing, yeah,
and then
the
like
thing is
we
like
don't even like
the
hear
doll goes
her-
away.
in any
yeah.
in any other in any other anime series, like Sabrina would be like an end game kind of like a big antagonist
Like,
for a
She
series.
has the potential to, but she's not.
She's
what
like
happens
in yeah.
to the other thing?
What thing?
The little girl
She
that sticks her.
disappears.
Well,
Right, she
that's-
just
She
that's
doesn't
her.
though. We don't see her. We just see her smile and start walking away.
No,
That's
doesn't
her-
she
floats
fades
away.
away.
Yeah.
Does she
She
fall?
fades
Okay.
away.
I didn't
She's
see her
like,
fade
well,
away.
that
I
girl's
was
like
oh
her
my God, she's
her
out.
manifestation. That's to represent her being her split personality.
I
the
know,
girl's
but
like
I
a
was like, oh,
child.
maybe she just like ran away.
Does that like fit your psychology of
Well,
like?
I thought about that. It's really interesting because like the idea is that like she was under so much strain or like stress that she like split into these two
Yeah.
bodies. One where it's like childlike and one like the sadistic, serious one. And like with the child one that wants to play forever, and it is like a split personality. It's an interesting idea because that where it's like the brain like literally splits into
well,
two,
it's like
makes another personality. But in this like concept, it's like the body splits into two.
well, the body. It's a
Interesting.
psychic projection. She's created that kind of child,
Right.
from- as well as that. Like I'm thinking there might be a little bit something lost in translation. Like I feel like the parents kind of forced her into that psychic.
No,
like, honing,
in
right?
this, no,
She
in
just
this,
had the
no.
powers naturally.
The parents are trying to like get her to like be friendlier and make
Yeah.
friends, and she wanted to focus on it. So,
Psychic.
and when they tried to stop her, she she destroyed the whole house and forced
she
them
destroyed
and
the house.
forced
yeah.
her parents to go.
Yeah.
And then like she turned her mum to a doll, and then that made her dad run away. So
Oh.
she literally took her parents out of the picture.
The idea.
Horrible child, really.
Like
Like
she basically killed her mum,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
like banished her dad.
The idea of Sabrina could have been an amazing antagonist for like 10, 15 to 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And the thought of this awesome, really intriguing split
Yeah.
personality angle they could have gone with was any other TV show that could have been excellent.
right.
Any other show, but I get it.
This is
it's an
Pokemon.
animated show for kids.
And
on,
it's one
on
gym.
every Saturday
Yeah.
morning, and it's a gym,
Yeah.
and it's it's gonna be a new episode each week. So
Yeah.
I understand why the way it was, but the potential that she could have had was just unfortunately it was just not there.
Yeah.
I mean, like they did devote like a 3-parter, which is quite a lot for a gym leader so far.
But I would say
It was more
I
of
would
the
say
psychic
it's
Pokemon,
more of
not
a
Sabrina.
two-parter as well.
With the
because
The
So,
ghost was just
yeah.
in between.
because the ghost in between, like she's like they mention her like once. I think
Yeah.
they say Sabrina's
Yeah.
name once.
I think like the thing as well is that this is kind of like the second time around Sabrina's like quite a known quantity now, and like then I think like as well as that she's not as scary as the first time, because like the first time it's
I
like
think she's just as scary because now you know that she's like
Turns
purposely
people
you,
into
split
you
dolls.
herself
get that
into
bit of
two.
backstory,
Yeah.
which makes
But
her
like-
like scary.
but
yeah.
like the first time you see her and she's like, oh, what is she capable
She's
of?
more mysterious
Yeah.
than scary the first time, but the second time she's more scary.
Like-
Yeah, because you know that she like
You
once
know what
she
she's
you know that
capable
she's
of.
like she got rid of her parents so that she could purely
Yeah.
focus on her craft.
And like it's quite interesting. But yeah, I still think Sabrina's like my favorite of the gym leaders, and like she's just so dark and menacing, and like even she just has a different moral compass or like
But we
ethical
don't really
thing
know
as
her
well.
moral compass because
we
like
just yeah.
She
We
just
don't-
wants to get better at her power.
yeah, and then we don't know the after. We see her smiling and waving
Yeah.
goodbye, so I would say her moral compass is completely like shifts.
Yeah.
Well,
But we don't know that
Well,
because
yeah.
she doesn't. We don't get like a
So-
resolution.
and
We don't get a
and-
Yeah.
resolution.
and we
But I-
don't know if she like intentionally returned everyone back to normal, or if like the fact that laughing uncontrollably
It
made
kind
her
of
lose
broken the
focus.
spell. Or
Yeah,
something,
made her
yeah.
lose focus, and then
Hmm.
she kind of was like, "Oh, okay, well, you can go," because I enjoyed that.
I don't think she was like.
I had a
"Oh,
good
okay,
laugh."
She
whatever."
smiles goodbye. Like,
Yeah.
she's obviously changed.
She's changed,
Yeah.
but we didn't get that.
We didn't
We didn't get that
went-
clearly.
We needed more dialogue from her.
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'm just like wondering, like, having to battle her before the change, and like how she would be like quite like intense.
What if she's a really bad trainer?
Yeah.
Now she's like awful.
She can't do it anymore.
But yeah, it was still like a fun episode. But like even this episode, like the last episode, I felt like you could have cut like these two episodes. Yeah, could have been combined.
They easily could have been into one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
With the
this.
Haunter one.
Yeah,
for
the Tower
Dexperience.
of
No,
Terror.
for the actual episode.
The
Oh, yeah.
Tower of Terror and Haunted vs. Kadabra could have been the same episode.
Like there's ways that I can argue why they should. Like if it was more centered around the mysteriousness of Lavender Town, then its own episode for the previous one. This one, if we got more of Sabrina's backstory other than the Haunted just showing up and disappearing each time.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I think they should have maybe made it one battle, because Ash is like, oh no, where'd Haunter go? And then he tries to escape. Like it's the whole thing is like it needed to be. It was kind of a bit Patty-ish.
Yeah, I thought Haunter was gonna like show up and like he'd been invisible the whole time and he was gonna fight like once Pikachu was knocked out.
Yeah.
And then he appeared and made her laugh, and it was like.
Well, that's the thing. Like I did find it interesting how Haunter has like is like a chaotic neutral kind of character. Like
you go with your D&D stuff.
Yeah, I think that's right. Like Haunter's chaotic neutral.
I want to say neutral because he's just he's a prankster. He's having fun. He's a bit of a trickster.
Yeah.
I'd argue more of a chaotic good because what he does is not intentionally to harm people.
He does make
he's out there to try and make people laugh. Well, we just see the gang around the Ghastly at the end with the last episode. Haunter's outside with Ash.
No, Haunter makes Jesse and Jay. He's the reason why.
Haunter tries to make them fall off of that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. See, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
In this episode.
Here's a good thing. Yeah. Just to jump away from dissing Sabrina, or like, James says the egg preceded the chicken.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yes.
I that was such a fun moment.
So, what
do we want to discuss?
Guys, the chicken or the egg?
Surely the egg has to hatch the chicken. Like
no,
but the chicken has to have the egg.
There would have been something before a chicken that wasn't a chicken.
Yeah, like a
mutant
bird.
The way I'm thinking it, so it's common knowledge that a chicken is a descendant of a T-Rex. T-Rex.
Wait, is it?
Yes.
Is that actually confirmed?
Yes. It's
like
some sort of dinosaur.
It's not
it's
confirmed.
It's confirmed.
It's like it's related to the dinosaurs.
So for T-Rexes to become T-Rexes, there would have eventually been some bacteria in the ocean that grew into a fish, that grew arms and legs, that grew into a giant lizard, and then T-Rexes started breeding with eggs. So throughout many thousands of millions of years, it would have been a cycle of eggs and chickens and eggs and chickens and eggs and chickens. But if it's going all the way that far back, it would have started as a little water amiibo. So I'm gonna say it's the chicken that came first, not the egg.
I would say the egg.
I would say that actually the egg came first because eventually there would have been one pure egg chicken. A chicken as we know it today.
Right. Yeah.
There would.
It's a mutant. Like a chicken is a
James
mutant
is
of
genius.
whatever came before.
Yeah.
James is a genius.
Dexperience also brings science knowledge. Take that, Bill and
We say the egg came
Where the science
before the chicken.
Dexter's laboratory.
What do you have to say, Dexter's?
Yeah.
We have science degrees.
Unless you're a creationist.
You're allowed that. You're allowed that
of
opinion.
Of course, you're
too.
allowed that opinion. Yes.
I like how Jesse tells James and Meowth to die for her as well in this episode.
Sorry, what?
Oh yeah,
Jesse-
to like drop,
Jesse's like
release himself.
sacrifice yourself so I can pull myself up.
I don't know what Meowth's worried about because don't they
Cats
say
have
cats
9
land on
lives.
their feet as
Yeah,
well?
but still the momentum of the cat landing on its feet
my
from that
God.
height, its legs
They
would break.
should have
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
They like that.
You
was-
bring up that cats can land their own feet. Apparently, if you drop a slice of butter, a slice of bread that's
I remember
buttered,
that MythBusters
it
episode.
lands on the butter side down. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you tie a slice of bread that's buttered with the butter side up against a cat on its back, which side is it going to land? The legs or the butter toast?
legs,
These
'cause the
Dexter's, answer the questions,
Butter's
please.
not as heavy as a
that come
cat.
before.
Oh my
You don't know.
god!
Science.
Yes, I do know.
So this episode,
I'm gonna go butter.
It's Butters from South Park, I'm saying.
also,
Butters.
if you're listening, if you're thinking about throwing your cat off like a 10-story building,
Do
don't.
it. Every
please.
Do not do that
Do it and
because
tag us in it.
you will
We
break
wanna
the
get viral.
you'll break the cat's legs. Okay, because it still like faces like inertia and acceleration from the fall. Like, don't just watch out because that's why like cats don't want to.
Yeah.
That's why cats get stuck in trees because they
Inertia
know
is
innate
like potential, Dennis. You don't like suffer inertia.
accelerate or whatever it is.
Yeah, do it. You
the
become
force.
TikTok famous.
And like, and that's why like cats are afraid of coming down when they're stuck in trees. You know, because like they don't.
Because they're
wanna-
pussies.
Yeah,
Hey!
that's yeah.
Oliver, are you using
No, it's cat.
genitalia as a derogatory term?
Yes, he
No,
is.
it was not.
Wow.
It was a
Yes,
cat.
he
You
is.
said they're pussy.
He said they're
Yeah.
Wow.
You
It's
dick,
cat,
you dick,
cat.
Oliver. You absolute dick.
Cancel.
So
I call
has,
cats little pews.
Has anyone seen Umbrella Academy?
No.
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 Oh my god, it's
No
so good.
spoilers.
It's really good. I suggest watching it, especially if you like comic booky kind of
Like
series,
Watchmen, you said.
like Watchmen or like even X-Men. They're like with
comic
the
books, yeah.
they're like the good X-Men movies anyway.
Oh.
But
Okay.
this is
you
like
mean-
Sabrina reminds me so much of Vanya from Umbrella
Vanya,
Academy.
yes.
Yeah,
Ah,
Vanya.
Vanya.
Now-
Don't you mean number 7,
Yeah.
Dennis?
Yeah.
Come
Number
on.
7.
Come on,
Don't you
codename
mean-
Kids
don't you-
Next Door.
don't-
Number 2's the best. Come
Oh
on.
my-
No, number 4.
Wait, which one's
number-
Is that number for the fat kid?
No, that's number
What?
2.
Number two.
Oh, number 2
No,
is
No.
that's
the
the small guy in the orange jumper.
I hate that kid.
I'm glad I started this.
Which one's the like African American girl?
Number 5.
Number 5. Yeah,
Five.
she's my favorite.
Yeah.
Um,
I do like number 3 as well. As long as number 1's out the window.
Number 1
Fuck
is like
that
so
guy.
lame. He's
Yeah.
I
like,
like number 2.
Hey, which one's the kid with blonde hair?
That's number 4.
Number 4. Number 4 is the
oh,
best.
of course
that's
you'd
what I'm
like
saying.
number 4.
I just like
What does
number
that
4 as
mean?
well. What's
He's
wrong with
like,
number 4?
he's a runt.
He's a little rough and tough in like.
What are you trying to
say about me?
He's not a runt, is
Yeah.
He's a runt.
Remember
How's he a
Remember
runt?
the episode about the
He's a
dead
runt.
hamster and all the hamsters
Yo,
like,
come back to
back?
life?
That's
Yo, but
intense.
Captain Sticky Beard though.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
You know what?
Such a
Codename
That's
Kids
not-
Next
it's
Door
voiced by Tom
always
Kenny.
disappointed me.
Why? It was good.
Good show. That was
Like
a
I
great
watched it,
show.
I was always disappointed
and
watching it.
Umbrella
Like it never
Academy.
like reached my expectations of like this like group of like spy kids that are like
I loved
doing
it.
like
I would
shenanigans.
say it was
Yo,
almost.
Spy Kids,
I'd
though.
say like
Yeah.
it wasn't as good, but like
Spike is
it was like it was like as good as your Miss
'Cause, like-
Powerpuff.
Because
Girls
like
episode.
I like usually each episode we only focus like on 1 or 2 of them at a time usually, but for the sake of like characterization. But like I just wanted to see them all together like
you'd get,
doing
like,
like
two-
a
You'd get that would happen.
like in a movie.
So
If
also-
a,
There was a movie.
There was a
I think.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a movie.
Tell you what's a good
Uh,
show though. The Good Revengers of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah,
Oh.
great
Oh my
show.
God.
Ah,
Speaking of the occult, Sabrina and the Teenage Witch
Witch.
Glad
was
that
quite
you
good
wanted
as
to
well.
talk about Umbrella Academy, but we just
Talked about Conan.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
And,
we all
Eddie
knew that
was
though.
also really
Yeah.
good.
what's also good.
Eddie on Eddie.
Oh,
Yeah.
good show.
I'm a whore for Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Oh, it's
I-
so,
it's-
it's so funny.
Great.
Absolutely amazing. Give me Johnny and Plank any day.
Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Ralph is the best.
Why
Kevin's
do you
an ass.
know all
Yeah.
the names?
Yeah.
So does like Haunter just stay with Sabrina now?
Yeah,
That's
Like-
what I
Ah.
assume. Yeah.
That's like another
Back to
thing that would have
Pokemon.
been nice, like that extra little bit of dialogue to see like
Haunter's an Ed, Ed and
Sabrina
Eddie.
say something and
Yeah.
then like Haunter's decision to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like that's all implied that happened, but like we don't see it.
You know,
Yeah.
like I could imagine Sabrina getting like kind of annoyed with Haunter after a while. You know, like
She's
'cause
like,
it would-
shut up with your
she
jokes.
should be like quite tired. She'd be like, Haunter, you need to you just switch off for a bit.
Well,
you
I
know?
think-
It's like watching the same comedy special over and over again. You just
Part
get
of
sick
her,
it.
that childhood version of herself that you assume is still like somewhat part of her personality. Like
Yeah.
she now has someone to play with
Yeah.
and like have joy with. I guess
That's true,
She
yeah.
didn't feel of her
I,
parents.
it's like it's
But
very
the
much.
thing is though, like she purposely put aside wanting that to become
Yeah,
a trainer.
that's
so.
true.
That's like when women enter the workforce
Oh, here
and
we go.
they're like,
Oh, boy.
Dennis.
I wasn't ready for
look,
this.
I'm just trying to think
Let
about
it-
it
let them-
holistically.
Yeah, let me go.
Because like women, like there's that certain, like there's that negative reinforcement of like being like for the longest time of like women not getting like promotions and things just because they're women or potentially because they might get pregnant. And so they, and the benefits cost more or whatever, and like maternity leave. And so like, I think for a lot of women, that is like a reality for them of like having to kind of push aside maybe that aspect of their womanhood to be successful or to kind of be seen on par with people. So they maybe put off maybe having children or potentially like putting on too much makeup or not enough makeup.
I don't know if an aspect of Sabrina's womanhood is like playing around and having fun.
I would say like it's
I don't
still
know
kind of
if
along
I
that
wanna make
lines.
that connection.
It's like along that lines of like like even like I think even guys or like even like anyone.
You're just saying like
really.
just putting your
It's
like
like-
hobbies aside.
Yeah,
for your
like
career.
entering that kind of professional world and like feeling like you can't have the hobbies that you want, or maybe like the passions or things like that. And on the other hand, there are some certain things like you get promotions because you're like married or you're considered the bread maker of the family, so you are held on to longer than other people. And it's, I don't know, it's just kind of like an interesting thought that I had about like how like exterior forces can make you kind of push certain aspects
Yeah.
of yourselves
Yeah.
away because you're like, well, that's not productive in a capitalistic society, oh, that's not like, for example, we're doing a podcast and we're probably not going to make money. Although if we have a Patreon, please donate
Raid
money.
Shadow Legends.
How's your underwear doing? Do you not know how to wear underwear?
What ad is that for?
But, like,
no, there is like an
we'll
underwear.
come and teach you how to
But,
put
like,
on your.
Do you not have a bed? Are you sleeping
feel
on the cold floor?
I can agree with all that, but I think
Yeah.
Serena's thing is she's obsessive.
Sabrina.
Yeah,
What did I say?
Serena.
Sabrina is obsessive, is her problem.
Yeah,
And she becomes
Yeah.
like power hungry.
yeah. So like she becomes kind of like a nerdy version of a psychic nerd version.
Yeah, basically like a psychic nerd.
I can see what you mean and completely agree. But I can't see the correlation with that with Sabrina. I think that's because we're thinking more what we know, like in the mind of, maybe she's somebody who's working at a bank. She's not. She's somebody who's focusing on psychic powers.
Yeah.
Like
you
it's kind
think-
of hard to put that together.
Do you
like,
think like Sabrina enjoys being a gym leader?
just seems to have a good time?
I think. Yeah, I think. Well, I think because like the obsessive part of her wants to be the very best psychic person. So like when she does her gym stuff, she's fulfilling that part. And then also when she beats anybody, they become her dolls. So like the kid play version of
The
her
kid gets
is
some
also
satisfaction.
becoming.
It's like,
satisfying.
I think
that's
we're
quite
thinking
sadistic.
about it more
Yeah,
than
it's-
the writers did.
Well, I don't
That's
know.
okay,
It's fun
though.
to
That's
like
the
break
Yeah,
it
that's
down.
okay.
But
But
like I think that's like
we
yeah,
can't do
it is messed up. But
Yeah.
I think like both parts of her personality were being fulfilled.
I think
So it'd be interesting to see Sabrina in like
yeah,
you know like
10 years from now.
like
or something.
even like 6 months from
Yeah.
after like she loses both her parts.
Uh-huh.
Will she just split
Yeah.
again?
It would be good to give a deeper answer, but there's
And,
not
like-
enough of character to
and
really
like
say.
I can't. Well, she doesn't appear again.
Yeah.
Which
she
is
doesn't
like,
appear again.
Which
Why
is
doesn't
like-
Pokemon do that?
Because
Well,
they go different generations and different regions.
Yeah, it would just be cool though. It'd be nice.
sometimes gym leaders
I
reappear.
just think they're neat.
But
Yeah.
like I think as well because Sabrina's character in the anime is just so divorced from how she appears in
Games.
the games.
What is
Because
she
in
like
the
in the
games she's like she's quite a loving, very well put together. She's just like
She's just kind of
she's just kind of-
gym
She's
leader.
just a
Yeah.
standard psychic gym
she's
leader.
just
Like Mr.
chill,
Gym
you know,
leader.
and she's
Yeah.
quite
She's no
nice.
Kate and Liza, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's still nice. She's really nice. She's like the complete opposite of this sadistic
Yeah.
anime Sabrina.
I think they took the advantage of her being the psychic trainer to be able to do
Right.
that.
But like, I
Makes
mean,
sense.
I feel like they did take some cues from the anime because her game, like her art for like the Sugimori art for of herself as gym leader. She looks quite cool and calm and collected. So
Yeah,
yeah,
she's.
I do like Sabrina just like because she's sadistic and like because she's capable of causing so much havoc. And
You said when you were younger, you just like really liked her. 'Cause she was just cool. You
Yeah.
thought.
There's
You
nothing-
just
there's
like
nothing
seeing
wrong with
it.
it's like
Yeah,
psychic
I was
powers
figuring
are
out.
Yeah,
so
there's
cool.
nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but I just wish she had more
Yeah.
character because she was built up to have such a cool character.
Yeah, that's like the thing that's
We got
keeping me
nothing.
away from
Yeah.
thinking she's cool. Is that
Yeah.
like she just didn't have a character.
I would have liked that resolution you were saying. That would have been nice
We-
to have.
Yeah, we just didn't see any like we did. I'd say we didn't see any character. She was like a one-dimensional character.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was power hungry and also wanted to play.
And the coolest thing about it was that she was split, and we didn't learn that until 5 minutes left of the episode.
Yeah.
But Haunter and Kadabra, I just want to make a quick connection because I said I would do that in the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
So the reason why I think it was Haunter and not Gengar chosen is
Yeah.
because it makes sense for Haunter and Kadabra to go against each other, both being middle evolutions and both being evolutions through trade.
Oh.
I thought I had a
Oh.
theory when I saw the episode title. I was like, "Oh, are they going to somehow trade their Pokemon and both evolve?"
That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
That's interesting.
Is
yeah.
that how Pokemon evolve?
Yeah, some of them.
No, but do they in
Haunter and
the
Kadabra.
series though? Like, do they?
Oh, true in the anime.
We
Yeah.
don't really
Actually-
see
In the anime, do they
no,
trade?
I can't say
I
I've
would
seen it in the
say-
anime.
Maybe once. Like I'm sure it happens at least once.
In what season? What do you think?
Oh, I can't remember.
One of
exactly.
them.
I feel like. Oh, James.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, Weeping Bellow.
No, that's a leaf stone.
Yeah, we've doesn't
There
evolve
is
through
one.
trade.
There is
Oh.
one in Generation 4. I will say because if we get to Generation 4, we'll forget it by then.
Yeah.
Ash and Dawn trade Ash's Apom, and Dawn's Apom then evolves into Ambipom, which is weird.
Yeah,
because
Apom
it's not
doesn't
an
evolve
evolve through
through
trade,
No,
trade.
but
that's what happens.
That's not a trade evolution. I think it lends double hit, right?
Yeah, but in the anime, it evolves through the trade,
you-
within the same episode of the trade.
Oh, within
as
the
well.
same episode.
I'm,
So that's the only connection I can give.
Yeah. And
I'm not
so
looking forward to
really.
having to remember 2 new people's names like on a constant basis. I'm just gonna call them the new people Brock 2 and Misty 2.
What? What?
Yeah, you gotta
So when
stack
you
up
like
each time.
when you meet new people, are you like, oh, I don't really
56.
want to learn a new person's name. I'm just gonna call
Yeah.
them.
Brock 2.
Logan called me Sebastian 3 for years.
Wait,
3.
Three.
Oh,
It was number 2.
canon, I don't
It's
know.
like, you about have this.
His own
You have the
brother.
same amount of
What's the
like.
best you do?
You have the same amount of like creativity as like the scientist who cloned Mew.
Same amount of creativity as the writers for Sabrina.
Yeah.
What?
What? This was a good. These was a
Dude,
good.
final thought.
These
Yeah,
were.
final
These
thoughts.
was
Dennis,
a
you go
good.
first.
These were good. Like a couple of episodes. We got to see something very different from the anime. We got to see psychic
mean
powers.
You mean the game?
No, from the anime.
Ah, for the anime.
Like we got to see something very different from the anime in terms of like using like kind of occult kind of psychic powers that it's like helped expand the universe of the world, I suppose. And if not for the fact that Maiden's Peak was like 2 or 3 episodes ago, it would have been like really even more refreshing to have like see all the ghosts and psychic powers and like see all this like spooky cool stuff. I really like Sabrina. I could really I guess relate to her as like a lonely only child.
Yo, you have psychic powers?
I wish. And I could you know, I could be like, yeah, that tracks. Like if you had psychic powers and you would be able to like change reality at will, you'd probably go a bit loco.
Oh, definitely.
And so like,
Yeah. You ever seen the movie Chronicle?
no, I haven't.
Bionicle?
Pokemon
It's also
Chronicles?
what, like, the movie Looper kind of centers around that as well.
Yeah.
Like the kid with crazy powers eventually
Yeah.
becomes evil.
Or like, you know, Vanya from Umbrella Academy.
Of course.
And-
Number 7, you know.
Oh,
yeah,
number 7,
I
yes.
Like, what does that say? There's this line, with great power
Comes
corrupts.
great responsibility.
No. Great power corrupts absolutely, but absolute power corrupts. Oh, what is the line? Google.
I love biology.
Just Google it. But it's something like that. Like when you
This?
have
Brown
when
was racist, wasn't it? Like
What?
Did it? Wasn't
Oh
it?
yeah, it had like moldy
Yeah.
tropes
Oh,
and like
no,
names
really?
and words.
that was
Oh,
that was in
yeah.
the first
The
like
movie.
The
the-
Mask of Light?
like the first movie.
No, it was in the right. It was like
It was in
it
the
was in like the books. As
no
well
the
and
first
stuff.
run of the Bionicles. They used like
Yeah.
stuff like Maori words as
Yeah.
Oh.
as like framing, and then they got
Yeah.
like a angry letter from the Maori Association.
Didn't hear
The
this in the
Maori
UK.
Association.
This was a while,
Yeah.
and then so now like any Bionicles that are
US.
released, they have like different made up names that aren't like references.
Fun fact.
That-
Fun bionicle fact. for
Fun
you
bionicle
kids.
Yeah.
fact.
Final thoughts, Alana?
Final thoughts. I was. It was
That's it.
That's yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Like yeah. It's done.
What? Do you not appreciate Sabrina being a boss bitch?
She's
I
not.
don't
a,
think
she's
she
not a
was.
boss bitch.
She's a boss bitch.
No,
She's a
not.
one-dimensional
She's a-
character.
No, she's
not a boss
Yes, she
bitch.
is.
She's like
Um,
the thing is that,
Misty's a boss bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Misty's
Sure.
great.
but okay,
Misty
Misty's
is
definitely,
but
yeah.
I would not put Sabrina near
she
Misty.
floats off of her like.
What does that have to do with
thing,
being a
and, like,
boss bitch?
And she's just
Cool,
like
she's got
like,
powers. If a
look,
guy did that,
if
would
like
you say
anyone
he was-
ticks her off, she can just turn them into a thing. Like
Yeah.
she does her job as a gym leader.
That's called
and
like
That's not a gym
like,
leader's job
That's
to
like
tell people the dolls.
sadistic and like unlawful and unmoral.
Dennis,
Well,
I
that's
think Sabrina could have been cool.
Yep.
She needed maybe like an episode actually devoted to her character.
Yeah.
The thing with Sabrina is she doesn't need to do that though.
Yes, she
because
does.
She doesn't need to
She
be like.
does.
There's 3 people
She
saying
does.
they felt
'Cause-
unsatisfied.
'cause all you have, Dennis, then is like if this was like a movie and you just had like the one just like a powerful like one like powerful character who just did.
She's the equivalent of Snoke.
She's the equivalent. Would you say Snoke was a really bad
Boss
evil
ass,
guy?
yeah.
No, he does nothing.
We didn't get to
oh,
give it enough.
Sabrina.
Listen,
that's
Sabrina,
that's
we
good,
find out her
that's good.
backstory. She's a child that's like trying to
Yeah,
strive to
in
become
20
like
seconds of
the-
dialogue.
the best. It's still there in the script, and you can extrapolate from that. And like, you find out that Sabrina's trying to be like the best gym leader, and she's done that. She's
I mean,
the
she,
reason
like,
she's
she-
such a flat character is because she's achieved what she's wanted to do.
I would
Like,
also say she's not the best gym leader
But, like-
because she
but-
powers up her Pokemon like by cheating, by using her
Sure,
own
sure.
psychic.
And
Let's
she
have
lost by
power.
laughing.
She doesn't. She's achieved her goal, but we know that like. But like she hasn't like the arc is like
It wasn't finished.
yeah, the arc is like not that she becomes the best thing; it's that she can resolve her two
Well,
personalities.
in that
right?
way, yes,
And
I
then-
agree that like she
yeah.
was used as an obstacle for Ash more than like maybe having kind of some sort of like emotional arc. But I like that she is still like she's still a good character that hasn't been like portrayed well in the story, I think. But like you can kind of draw I found that I could draw from what what we are given, that like there's a certain amount of interesting character there that like is able to be like able to create like it's compelling. The fact it's like it doesn't have to spell everything out. You can kind of draw that she was like trying hard, and then she locked away this part
I'm
of
not,
herself.
I know that part, but I'm saying I wanted to see the part that like is not there for me is the after fact. Like what happens like literally the next hour when she's not like that. What's she like?
And what you were saying as well, I couldn't get that unless I got that 20 seconds bit of dialogue saying, when she's growing up, she just dedicated her time to work and didn't want to play with people. That's that's what you need to understand it. But geez, they could have went so much more deeper and so much more complex. Like we've seen with other characters, like with Misty's arc, like with Brock's arc, and even with Ash's arc, even Pikachu and Caterpie. Caterpie was a better character in the Sabrina.
The thing is, I think they had.
Caterpie's first episode has it's like way more character development.
Well, that's
than
the thing.
Sabrina.
Like they were trying to get you to empathize.
And I think they were trying that with Sabrina as well. But
Yeah, you were trying to
she
understand where she was
couldn't-
coming
yeah,
from.
but no.
But like you could see where she was coming from,
Uh-huh.
but like you wanted to see like she was technically evil.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like you wanted to see her like you wanted to see like what she was like after she like was after the
and like
doll.
had like a
I-
revelation.
I didn't want to see that in the first episode because she was just evil.
yeah.
We didn't have no need to sympathize.
Like
with
a
her.
revelation, like even if she was still like decided she wanted to be a big bad gym leader, would have been cool. But like
Yeah.
we didn't get.
She totally as well in the episode. They had the time to delve into her, but they spent
Yeah.
so much weird time.
On,
just
like, Haunter,
on
not
Haunter,
disappearing.
disappearing.
Haunter, yeah.
They could have
and
definitely
Team
dedicated the
Rocket.
time
Yeah.
to that.
Mhm.
They,
Yeah.
yeah.
Unsung heroes.
Unsung heroes this week goes out to good old Basculin or Basculimpin as
Have you already given Basculin a shout out?
No.
no Barboach was the last one.
Oh right. Yeah.
Keep your head held up hiking.
I'll go now. Yeah, like I said, I think the weakest of the three that we've just discussed as the story arc. Sabrina had so much potential to be something so much more than she wasn't. And it's a real shame. It's a real shame because psychic powers is dope AF. Like you give somebody who's
Say it,
controlling
Harry.
dope as fuck. You see, you see somebody who controls like this
It's not my fault.
child manifestation of herself, a physical doll of hers and she could turn people into dolls. And yeah, that's amazing, but I just don't care about her. I had no reason to care whether she got better or not. And then the way for Ash to win the badge was also
That was
lame.
I didn't even talk about that. That was awful.
The whole idea of it being Haunter versus Kadabra built up this entire time of Ash having to go and get a ghost Pokemon. He gets the ghost Pokemon. And he's not been using Haunter to
Yeah,
fight.
I was hyped for a battle.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
me, hands
technically-
down the worst episode so far.
I'll go next.
Oh my.
Hands down.
Okay.
One part that we didn't really talk about was how hilarious it was when the mum was like, "Oh, she's not actually that bad.
Yeah.
I think she is, lady." But,
You are literally a doll.
Yes. And how long has the mum been there for?
I guess you can kind of see how she's been enabled
It's
to
like,
reach where she is now.
It's like, what's it when, like, is it Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah.
When, like,
Yeah.
you fall
Oh,
for
yeah.
your captor? I think
Yeah.
that's what the mum has, like,
Yeah,
for
me
her
too.
daughter, like, keep it. Yeah, I remember, actually, for listeners, it would have been 2 weeks ago, when I said to Dennis, I don't see how Sabrina's, because you were talking about how Sabrina's really cool in the first episode, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, I think she could be. I'm
you did
interested
say
to
that.
see, like,
How she's cool.
how she's cool.
And
And then this episode should have been that, but it was the exact same as the first episode. She didn't like. All we learned was she was power hungry, and then like cool. What? Where did that get? Like we didn't get the where did that get her? Like
Yes.
it got her to her peak, and then we didn't see what happened after her peak, which is boring.
Yeah.
What do you mean by peak? Though?
Like, so we saw her like
Achieve
we
her
learned
goal
what
of
she
the-
wanted. She like we learned that we saw like what she had to do to like
yeah,
get there.
we saw
But then
it.
we didn't see what happened when she lost it.
Well,
Yeah,
Which is the
obviously,
key.
that's
which
such
is
a key
that was
character
that was
arc.
the key.
What
That's
is
the
this,
key
The
to
View?
her.
Yeah.
That's the key
gotta
to her. That's the
assume-
key to her character.
Exactly.
The key to her character was the fact that she split herself.
Yeah.
And then when we see that split done, the split is gone.
What's
Who is Sabrina?
Who is Sabrina?
Well,
we
we
don't.
assume-
We can't.
gotta
You can't.
assume.
You're not given anything to assume from except from her smiling and waving goodbye.
Yeah.
We needed 1 minute of dialogue, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you just
That
gotta.
kind of
Her, like, even, like, hugging her
the
parents or
implication
something.
is that like
What's
she
what?
has humanity. She's like let the humanity back
How?
into her
How?
heart.
How?
How and like how much?
She's standing next. She smiles. She's standing next to her parents.
Yeah, how much? How much humanity? What is she a kid again? Like acting like wanting to
Yeah.
be friends with everyone? Does she leave the gym behind? Does she stay in the gym and like have like a good like median, or is she like what is she like?
Median because she's. Psychic.
Well, obviously, I feel like she just kind of changes more into a game kind of character, where she's just a pleasant,
we're not
nice
given
kind
that,
of person.
Yeah,
We
we
don't-
don't
we
know
don't
that.
we were just saying like, it was needed and nice to have.
I
We
mean,
didn't
yeah,
get-
sure, it would be good to see her like as kind of like this
And, like,
softer or
we
like
don't
maybe
get
more
like
emotionally.
she's a one-dimensional character. She is
There's nothing.
Yeah.
power hungry person who goes like
There was no level at
Yeah.
all.
It was sadly it was the same with Surge as well. He was just.
I would say Surge was better.
Evolve
'cause
your Pikachu. No, I'm saying they're both just as bad, but I would probably put Surge above because.
Oh my
at the
god!
end,
Because-
Surge is like, oh, good
yeah,
on you.
because
He's
at the
nice
end,
you.
Surge is a resolution for Surge.
Yeah.
He's
and-
like, I've learned my lesson. Pokemon don't need to be forced to
Yeah.
evolve to be better.
yeah.
It's fine, and he's funnier.
It has further implications on the story.
And he
what
says
Surge
thunder.
says.
Well,
But they're both
obviously,
bad.
like because Sabrina doesn't like attack or turn everyone back into dolls, she's kind of you have to look at it from the actions of Sabrina is an introvert type of character, right?
No, I'm
No,
not.
how's
like-
she an introvert?
Because she doesn't like for
She's
one
like
thing.
messing with them. She
Yeah,
could
but
choose
the
to
thing
not-
is, they come to her. She doesn't go outside. She doesn't like.
No,
drive.
Dennis,
I see
every
where you're
single
going.
gym
I see where
leader,
you're
they
going.
go to her.
Yeah,
They go to them.
But listen,
The gym
but-
leaders don't go
No,
outside to them.
I see where he's going. Like, and
Yeah.
we had the doll manifestation of her
Yeah.
to kind of do the
she's
talking.
not. She yet
But
exactly.
that's gone now, so that should be back with her, right?
We should-
She
So
should be.
we need-
But that's still part of her personality, though.
Yeah, but we don't know that, Dennis. You
Because there's
can't
no
say that because you
resolution.
don't know what part of that.
You just
character...
gotta draw it from what's there.
Okay, but do you know you could also draw what's from there?
What?
That part, she laughed that one little bit, and then she went full on psycho again.
Yeah.
No, because you have to. Again, I bring up the point where Sabrina is an introvert because you gotta be like
Okay,
the
but
character.
like, they could have had like
can I-
one interaction.
Let's let Dennis-
She
let
didn't even
Dennis-
hug
let
her
me
parents. We
finish.
didn't even
Let
see
me
that
ask
kind of.
It's like I'm trying to say is that like characters like Sabrina are more introverted and therefore their actions more dictate what they're kind of going for or what their mindset is or kind of what they're doing.
Okay,
so
we don't see her do any
so
actions
Sabrina,
after she loses.
like the fact is that maybe Sabrina doesn't need to like she did just. It's just not in her character to be like I feel better now or I feel good.
But we didn't
see in
see-
her actions she waves the trio goodbye.
That is
and
not an
she-
action. That is not an action.
It's
she
a
lets
cheesy
them-
anime ending. Of
Yeah.
She
it.
lets them go well.
Do you know what would have
and
been like
she-
more interesting? Kind of like a good gauge how she interacts like with her
parents.
dad after not
Yes,
seeing
just
her.
a hug with her parents.
or
and,
like even like an awkward like even like an awkward greeting or like awkward situation with her parents if she is an introvert.
What would have been awesome as
She was
well
like, haha,
was if-
sorry about that.
Was
Like-
the Honda joking was at the beginning of the episode, and then we have a rematch with her with Ash as her just as herself, seeing how she actually is as a gym
That
leader.
would be-
Well, I mean that,
That
would have
would've
been
been-
good as well.
that would've
Hell of a lot better.
But yeah, she just like she had potential and the potential was wasted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just have
it's
to
just
agree to
unfortunate.
disagree.
But
I guess.
how do you think her potential was used?
I thought that Sabrina, well, in the anime, was completely different from how she was used in
Yeah, no one's
Saffron
arguing
City.
with that.
and because of that, like I appreciate like she was almost like had what like 3 or 5 lines of dialogue from the games, and they just came out with this
Well,
new
all gym
character
leaders.
out of out of whole cloth. They kind of gave
Right.
her a backstory, gave her these cool
Yeah, it was cool.
powers, had like these situations, put the characters in these intense, like super dramatic situations, and like that was like quite compelling to kind of watch and experience. And you got to see like she does like rescue just thinking about that, she rescues Team Rock the trio from Team Rocket in the first episode. So you see like there's a certain like ambiguity to like how she kind of runs the town. Like does she do this for everyone? There's a certain sense that does she police the town?
Jesus.
She saves
town.
Ash because she knows
He's-
she's eventually going to be able to.
Yeah.
Totally get what you're saying, but everything you're saying happened in the first episode we saw her, not this episode.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, like, as a whole, though, like, linking the first episode and this episode,
Yeah, the first
Like-
episode set her up,
Yeah,
and then this episode had no
knocked her down.
delivery.
Yeah.
I did agree that it is disappointing, but I'm just saying that Sabrina herself as a character is still quite. I still like Sabrina as
You
a
don't have to lie.
character.
That's all
Of
good.
course, yeah. Of course. And we're telling you why we don't like her.
I,
Yeah.
I don't not like her.
But like
I
to
don't
say
have enough
that,
information.
but to say that like she's not as good as like Lieutenant Surge is like. Lieutenant Surge is just like this guy who's like a broy kind of dude.
she's
and-
just a person who's just kind of like got psychic powers.
But
and
the
abilities.
thing with Lieutenant Surge is that they knew that, and they gave that in a single episode. They built this up with Sabrina to be something so much more than she
yeah,
actually
it
was.
was built up.
That's
Like,
if
even,
Sabrina
like-
was just how she was in the first episode, and that's all we saw of her, just one episode of her. Fine, cool, awesome. She's an amazing psychic boss ass bitch, but she's not.
I think that she's a boss.
And
That's
that's
fine,
okay.
that's
That's okay
good.
to think.
but like, yeah,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, I don't know. She just like, and even would have been interesting if like Haunter had actually fought Kadabra,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was
you
the,
saw,
that was the
like,
real crime.
and you see her reaction to the fact that like all of this time and devotion can
Yeah.
be like taken away from
Do
her.
you know what was missing? Like vulnerability.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, because she had.
That's what was missing.
She had no. Well, she was emotionless.
How do you?
Yeah.
She split her personality
Exactly.
into two,
That's
bro.
off screen.
But when they come back together, we don't see anything.
That's what we're talking about.
That's like that's the most
fine.
disappointing
That's what
thing.
we're
Yeah.
saying. There's no payoff
Well,
for her character.
Yeah,
there's
Sabrina
no payoff.
laughing. She laughed,
It's not enough.
and
It's not-
that's vulnerable
And
because she
She
spent
laughs
like
and the
so
dad's
many.
like that's the most she's ever laughed. But that's like that's not the question is what she's like. What is she like when she's like actually like talking like once that because we see
Yeah,
the ghost
the
disappear
character, like-
and then the next shot is them waving away.
like again, to go back to Lieutenant Surge, there's enough there to just say, I now know that Pokemon don't need to be fully evolved to reach their
Yeah,
potential.
we don't see
Done.
her lesson
Character
learned.
wrapped up. His lesson has been
Yeah.
learned.
She just had like
we don't get
few
those
lines of
Sabrina.
dialogue.
She laughs. She waves. That's it.
We don't like you don't get the resolution.
Well, I mean,
It
I
just
want to see
shows
more
that-
from Sabrina as well,
Yeah.
but you know, you just gotta let that be like. I mean, well, for me as well, I was just like, well, I guess I'll just have to kind of imagine that she kind of becomes a bit more normal having had that kind of interaction, and then maybe they
And
might have decided that's not worth showing.
We can imagine that, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Can you like do you also feel that like there could have been a better resolution, or
I
do you
mean-
not see what we're saying?
I mean, I see what you're saying for
Yeah.
sure, and I totally like agree that this episode didn't pay off on the last two episodes.
Yeah.
And I totally agree that like, you know, like you wanting more, and I totally agree about wanting more, and I do want more, but like as well as
You've just accepted that like there isn't more, so therefore
yeah, I'm
Like,
just
maybe,
like
yeah.
having to be like, well, Sabrina right now is like quite cool. She's a boss ass. I still believe that she's a boss ass bitch, and
Why?
Got psychic powers.
because she's like she got what she wanted, but
Is
also
Lieutenant Surge a boss ass bitch then?
He's
He
alright.
gets what he
got
wants.
wanted.
he's alright, I guess. Well, no, the thing of Lieutenant Surge was that like he kind of was a bit like
Misty's a boss ass bitch
Yeah.
because she gets what she
when
she
the
does,
boys like bully her and she like
she stands up
She
for
stands up
herself.
for herself.
Sabrina
Sabrina
as a
turns them
character,
into dolls.
She has
though.
that really good moment in the Tentacruel episode.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
and like that is like that's badass.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying that that's
Sabrina-
not badass.
Sabrina is like so underwhelming.
The thing with
Oh, I agree, but
I
that's
just-
fine.
That's the
I
problem.
feel like
Yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
with Sabrina is that like she breaks the show. Like if Sabrina stayed around and like reoccurred, then like almost like a lot of the issues with like Team Rocket could be just like psychicked away because we've seen her powers. She can turn people into dolls or shrink
No,
them
but
down.
do you know what's interesting though? Does she lose some of that power now that she doesn't focus on it?
Well, I mean that would be
mean,
interesting to kind of
the
think
potential if she had that power as well. Like I was saying earlier, you could stretch it out to a 10 to 15 episode arc. Sure, you have to rewrite the entire show,
about. Yeah.
but
And
it
that-
could have been done, and you could have done with every.
She could have been like
Lieutenant
a, more of
Surge
a
could have
hanging
been more
over type
ruthless.
thing.
Could have been like a big training boot camp or something where he's forcing
Yeah.
Pokemon to evolve when they don't want to. You could have
AJ
like,
too.
Well,
it kinda-
Actually, do you know
It's
what?
like that with all the gym leaders.
AJ had a more round character than
Really-
Sabrina.
Oh my god.
Because you saw him being
he learns.
like,
He learns.
yeah, he learns. So you don't see Sabrina learn. And like as like the villain of the
She
episode,
smiles.
That's
That's
what-
how she learns.
Yeah, but Dennis, AJ smiles when he's whipping his sand shirt.
Yeah,
That doesn't
alright.
count, does
That's
it?
what kind of like. Okay, listen.
She does
That-
no, but but do you know how the others learn? That you actually see what their next step is. We don't see what like
Like when you compare it with those
like,
characters,
you
it
don't
is lacking.
see you don't see what
That's
Sabrina's
just
next
like kind of a fact.
like is her next goal like trying to find a balance? We don't know, but you know
Well, that's
Lieutenant Surge
you need like
is-
that's a spin-off idea,
but
right?
you know Lieutenant
Because you don't want it to be all about. You can't.
No,
because
but
it's-
Dennis,
this is a show about
can I
Ash,
finish my sentence,
Misty.
please?
Can I finish
No,
my?
I started. So Lieutenant Surge, right? You know that at the end he's going to start training Pokemon well, right?
Yes.
You know that when AJ goes off, he's learnt like his lesson
and he's bettered himself.
He's bettered
and
himself, and he achieved his goal actually, and now you know what he's going to go off and do. Who else is there? Even like freaking Team Rocket, you see have
you
learned.
got I forget her name from the episode after AJ as well. The
Giselle.
Oh yeah, Giselle. Giselle.
Yeah.
She learns. She goes from bully, like evil kind of bully person, to like fully understanding that like there's different ways to do things, and like she's nice to that boy at the end. All Sabrina needed was like 2 lines.
Yeah, that was literally
Yeah.
it.
She needed 2 lines to be like, this is what my character's like, because like every other character I know we don't see again, and that's okay. I know I don't care. I could just like, and you're left to imagine.
Yeah.
But like Sabrina there's way too much ambiguity. Way too
Mhm.
much.
I mean,
All you need is
Way too much.
I
You
am
need-
sorry for what I've done. I have learned my lesson.
Even
But I will continue to fight
She-
strong
but she
and
doesn't-
become a
no,
better
she
champion.
doesn't
Sabrina
necessarily.
doesn't need
She
to
doesn't need to. I
apologize.
agree. She doesn't need
She doesn't
to.
need to apologize
No,
for
no,
turning her
listen,
parents
listen.
into dogs.
I agree. She might not need to. She doesn't need to apologize, but it like for her to actually like be
Have a
interesting,
well-rounded
a
character
ra-
arc.
She needs to state
Something.
She needs to state like where she's going next, because
Yeah.
otherwise she's just you're just left there.
I mean, I agree. There's a certain like with the ambiguity of whether she's like
every character has ambiguity
where-
when we
no,
leave them.
like when-
she's got too much.
whether she like purposely retransformed everyone, released them from like the spell,
I didn't.
or
think
whether
about
she
that
was
at all.
doing that from like laughing, because I think that's like a part of it.
But I
she
think
released them.
there's
no
way,
way it was accidentally.
but there's
from
way
laughing.
too. No, I'm not talking about like ambiguity in the. I'm talking about like afterwards.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every single
But I
other
mean, just saying, like if
one-off
she,
character who has 1 episode to be interesting
yeah,
Yeah.
leaves you of that. She had 3 episodes and she's not developed at all. Really,
I think the
and
thing is
she's
like
left.
Sabrina. The thing with Sabrina is you do want to know more about her, which I think is why
And
that
they
makes her
should-
so interesting. Because like other characters,
I don't want to know any more
other
about her. I
Yeah.
if I had
agree.
gotten those 2 lines, which is not even like that's like what, like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I could be done with
The
Sabrina.
show
like, I could be
moves
done-
so quick
Yeah,
that
you're
like,
used
we're not
to
gonna
it.
care. Yeah.
Especially what this is episode 22, like in terms of the anime, or
20,
episode
yeah.
23 if you count the band, 24 if you count
Yeah.
the band ones.
Yeah.
Like by now you're used to saying goodbye to characters
Yeah.
like straight away.
So we're not gonna care about.
So
her
like
now.
we know that like we just want for like satisfying for like what the Pokemon anime's going with, where they should have done like 2 episodes of dialogue.
I mean, what would you have wanted?
I
just
said.
Yeah, we're just sitting.
I
So, like,
wanted.
I
I
don't
don't
see
you
care.
wanted her to
I don't
say,
know.
"I'm sorry."
No, I
for...
said no apologies.
Yeah,
she
Logan
doesn't.
did
She
say
doesn't
that.
have to apologize for what she did. She
You
can do
just
whatever the
wanted-
hell she wants. I just want her to like. I just want
It
to
could
know
be
what she's
anything.
gonna. I want to know like just like what her train of thought is for at least like even like the next like day is more interesting, because then you can kind of like you kind of get like what.
It doesn't
Very-
ma- it doesn't
I
matter
totally
what it
got
is.
That. I got that.
No, you don't. She's going ha 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 ha. Bye.
What do you mean? I got that. She was kind of. She probably
No,
would
but
go
Dennis-
about her gym leaderly duties.
Do
but
you know
maybe...
that?
We don't know.
Do you know that? No, but do you know what Lieutenant Surge is going to do? Yes, he's going to
Yeah.
keep being a gym leader, but he's also going to start treating his Pokemon and like listening to what they want.
Yep.
But Sabrina, she laughs, but you don't know what she's going to do now.
Well, obviously,
And like and AJ, you know he's going to start being nice to his Pokemon, and he's also learned that there's other ways of treating the Pokemon.
she
like-
learns to be nicer because obviously she wouldn't
Does
be
she?
like.
Does
she
she?
gave
We don't
Ash
know.
the badge, right?
No, her dad did.
Her
No,
dad
Dad
does.
But then she would she have
Well,
let
we
her
don't
dad
know.
give her
No,
the
we don't
badge?
know.
We don't
don't.
know.
You gotta-
But you're not given that information.
You need to look at
Dennis.
the facts of the situation.
No, but do you know what
Ash,
good writing is, Dennis? Do you know and good write every single other episode, you know that like you don't have to fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
Like you feel, or you do fill in those gaps, but it's logical. There is so much like random like ambiguity that like it could
These
be
are-
anything. Like
this
the
is the
dad could
thing,
have just
though.
given the badge, he just walked off.
But the thing is, though, like, Sabrina is obviously the most powerful psychic ability user of the whole town.
Of course.
And of her parents. So she's able to control her parents, her mother, her father. She turned her mother into a doll. And, like, if her father could have, like, combated her in psychic powers, she would obviously not be a doll, right? So then she went and let them not be dolls. Obviously, she's shown some leniency. She's shown, like, a sense of willing to forgive. She's shown a sense
But we
of...
haven't seen that.
We have seen
No,
it.
you
No, we
have
just saw her
not.
laugh. We
We
just
saw
saw
her
her
laugh in
Yeah.
waves.
But we've seen
No,
it
but
we
Dennis,
see
no,
it
but Dennis,
physically.
like every single other character though, if Lieutenant Surge had just lost the battle and then waved a goodbye, he would not be like.
Yeah, I would have felt incomplete. That
Yeah,
would've been-
he would. You would have felt incomplete.
So
I
did
think,
he learn
Dennis, I
that what he
think
did was wrong?
you're getting a little defensive of the fact that you like. We're saying Serena's not
Sabrina.
a boss. We're saying Sabrina's not a boss ass bitch.
Yeah.
Well, I agree she is. She's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but I'm
we
saying.
said it. We said
In
it.
terms of
What?
character-
Listen, no,
Yeah,
listen,
Dennis,
listen,
we're not
listen.
saying she's not cool or anything.
We're just
we're
saying
in
saying
terms of
that
character
she-
arc, in terms
her
of
character arc
Yeah.
flopped.
We
She's
know-
cool.
we know-
She's
saying.
cool. She's
Yeah.
powerful. I'm not saying she's not powerful. I'm saying all they needed was literally
A couple of sentences.
couple of sentences, and like, guess what? She would have actually like.
Probably
She would have been the
yeah,
best gym leader so far,
far.
but right now she's the worst gym leader so far.
What? Okay,
Which gym
listen.
is she better than? Can you tell me which gym?
Lieutenant Surge, at least.
Why?
Because that was a story that was more based about Pikachu and his
Yeah,
own
and
coming
that's
And
actually-
this story is based around ghost Pokemon, which you won't even see anyway.
Yeah. Yo, this is like you. Do you know what you actually get in this anyway? Way more Pikachu in Ash development
Yep.
than you do. You
Sabrina.
get Pikachu going in front of Ash.
that was a
and
big
those
moment.
tears.
That was a big moment.
That is the biggest moment of this
That
episode.
is a
big moment.
The
I don't
biggest moment of
disagree.
this episode, though, should have been what happens to Sabrina now.
It is a big moment when she laughs at
Yeah,
at
no,
Haunter.
but
That's a pivotal moment in
It's a
her
moment,
arc for
but
sure.
it's not bigger than the Pikachu moment.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course,
But it
because
should-
And
Ash
like,
and
we should have
Pikachu
been
are
given,
like together.
and we should have been given
Hey,
the.
Dexters.
We should have been given like.
I'm still here.
We should have been given. Where's she
Should
going
I?
now?
We do get a
No,
idea
you
of that
don't. You
separately
don't,
and,
Dennis.
release
She could
it
let
individually.
Dennis,
Okay.
every single other character, right?
Yeah.
They're one shot. Like you know where they're
10 minutes
going
later,
to,
turn it back up and
right?
still going.
One and like right. Every
Sorry,
single
yeah.
other gym leader and character, you know where they're going.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that's good because like in an anime like this where it's set like in stone that you don't know where they're going. Like when you know you're never gonna see them again, that's good because like you feel resolved. But no, Dennis, you don't know. Sabrina could go 100 different ways, and that's what's bad.
Okay,
I
hold
also
on
have
now.
a
Hold
point.
on now.
I also have a
Yes.
point.
I just want to ask one simple question. Okay.
Yes.
One simple question. Look, we're not
Yeah,
disagreeing.
you're getting defensive that
Yeah.
we think
Yes.
Sabrina's bad,
We're
and we're
not
not
disagreeing
We
that she's
agree
not
that
a
Sabrina's
boss.
cool and that she's like a boss ass bitch or whatever.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Yeah, but I'm saying
let's-
that
yeah,
like
let me
Yeah.
let me ask.
she could
Yeah.
have
Let me ask.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think?
not yet.
Do you think, not as her, as Sabrina, as you've grown up and loved because of psychic powers or whatnot, put aside the personal attachment to this for now.
Okay.
Do you think her character resolution could have been better?
I mean, sure,
There we
but
go.
also,
Okay, there we
we need
go.
to
That's
know.
all we
But
needed.
also,
But also what?
I can draw from
No, but
what
Dennis,
we're given.
You can draw, yeah, and do you know what you can draw from what you're
Can I have
given?
the talking stick?
She's gonna repeat. She's gonna like rinse and repeat exactly what she's done.
Oliver?
I would like to say that hey guys,
Hi, Oliver.
it's great. Well, this is a children's show,
Yes.
right? And because it's children TV, even more so, they need to just tell you what it is, because a child's not going to think at all.
They're going to be like,
Hardly.
what happened
I
to
think
the
we gotta-
Haunter? What happened to the Kadabra? Pikachu was awesome. Where was Squirtle? That's
Yeah,
what they're
like a
thinking.
child's not going to
for
care
sure.
about that stuff.
Sure, like
And-
sometimes you do need to spell things out, but I think we do got to give kids more credit, and I think
It's not even-
Pokemon as a series
No, but this
gives
isn't
kids
even.
a lot
This
of credit.
isn't even like
It's not
giving
spelling
kids credit.
things
This is
out.
like even
This
like
is
give
trying
us
to find a resolution that's not there.
give us a resolution.
If you just look at
Okay,
story, like
from,
outside of Pokemon, just look at storytelling and like characters, like how to make characters. They need that bit, and Sabrina did not have that bit.
She didn't
That's
have
just
the-
it.
She didn't have.
She didn't have the end to
She
the
didn't
circle.
have her curve.
That's it. All the other gym leaders, they
Okay.
had the bit.
The
Sabrina
point-
was introduced. She was like interesting. She had her peak.
Yeah.
And that first like battle, and then like they get teleported away, and the dad sets her up really
Uh-huh.
big, and then like she starts to come down. Like her like we start getting
Yeah.
more resolution when we learn about her backstory.
Uh-huh.
And then like
Drops.
it instantly like there's no art. It instantly drops
Yeah.
to like she's laughing.
And that's the whole
And
thing
then there's no
about
continuation.
kids shows as well. There's always like this lesson and resolution.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
think about it, like things like AJ and even Lieutenant Surge. There's always this like moment of like, oh yes,
Giselle.
like, There's always this
Giselle
moment
has a
of
moment.
learning
Giselle,
something and moving on. In like everything. So
Well,
and it's just the fact that we
okay.
don't have that moment of learning something and moving on.
Especially when the things she's done are like
Turning
bad.
people into
Yeah.
dolls.
And she tried to.
I
Like,
mean,
she threw a
trying to
ball.
okay,
at
steamroll
them.
people.
So can I explain to me what
Yes,
I think
Dennis.
Sabrina's character arc is?
Yeah, but you think that you don't know. Like,
Yeah,
Well, okay,
we all
I'll
know Lieutenant Surge
Yeah.
because he said so. What he's gonna do. We know what AJ's gonna do because he said so. We know Giselle what she's gonna do because
She said so.
she said so.
Well, I'll
talking-
explain because we don't always need a character to explain how they're feeling or their emotion
No,
state.
we don't need that,
Because-
Dennis. I'm saying I don't give a crap what she's feeling. I just want to know what the hell she's gonna do.
Well, okay, well, I'll explain why I know what she's gonna do.
Okay,
Okay.
try that. Yeah.
So, okay,
Not using.
Sabri-
I want only.
I'm gonna
direct.
reference-
I don't want anything. I don't want any Dennis personal opinion. I want only from the episode. I don't want your personal opinion at all.
I don't know what I don't know
Personal
how.
opinions went out the window
Okay,
40 minutes ago.
So my argument though is you gotta draw from it. So
Okay,
let me
what do you-
explain.
yeah,
Let me
what do you
explain.
draw?
First episode, Sabrina acts like a psychopath. She's kind of created this cult-like structure in the. Are you in your phone?
I'm messaging Georgia telling her I'm going to be late home.
And she's in this
This will
cult.
be a two-parter
She-
episode.
She's in. I probably we should. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
She's in this cult-like situation where she's kind of cast herself or like made herself this kind of like godlike leader. So obviously she believes or she presents herself as this kind of above human kind of persona. She's made herself like this ethereal being, and like she's like got like disciples like in terms of those spoon benders and things, and she has made herself like this kind of impossible to fight figure because she believes herself to be so, and she like has cut off again because she's got that child version of herself. She's cut off herself, and it's like kind of because she's repressed this part of herself, it's like come out in like these weird ways, like making a dollhouse, having like the trainers like in it and like fighting them and stuff like that. So that's where I think her character is introduced as. She's introduced as this figure that is like she's
Yeah, you already said it.
Yeah,
Go on to the next point.
so okay, we'll skip the Haunter episode, but like as we'll
What's
see,
the bit?
The best one.
You
When-
can't really skip the
Resolution.
Haunter
Okay.
episode though, because the dad sets up the only way you're gonna beat Sabrina is with the ghost.
okay, so he says he's got it.
And that's a big disappointment. Like you can't say.
So obviously the father believes that the only way to beat his daughter is to I'm going Australian because the reason the father wants to beat for the idea of beating the daughter is you need to
Could
get
you
a
have
ghost
some
type
Texas?
to have that type advantage because that's the only way of being able to beat
Shit.
beat
Unsung
someone,
Heroes
like
is
someone-
Oliver and Harry.
someone that
So in the back here.
some
Okay, go on.
someone that is equally like something that is equally as ethereal as Sabrina, this ghost type Pokemon, which are presented in the anime as like being like quasi like reality bending kind of creatures that are able to kind of like break the bonds of reality, much like Sabrina can. And so when Ash doesn't even catch Haunter because he just views it as impossible because the anime has made like ghost Pokemon seem so like mysterious up to this point. And so once we get to the second episode, Ash is at the whim of Haunter. And
Okay, go to the third episode.
yeah. So by the third episode, Ash has gained Haunter's kind of like
Allyship.
allyship.
It's the longest final thoughts
And and
I've ever.
and so Ash comes
Riveting,
against
though,
Sabrina, and Sabrina
yeah, for
operates
sure.
is still operating on that like binary sense of thinking of like, well, I am a gym leader, I am
Yeah.
above this.
Yeah.
And so when Ash forfeits the battle, she essentially says, I must have repentance. And she believes that she is
She doesn't say that. She says you can't. The doll says, "Oh, you have to play with me."
Yeah, well, because that
So
was
it's
the
not
deal.
Sabrina, it's the doll.
But the doll is
The doll-
Sabrina.
yeah,
doll
but
is
like,
Sabrina.
but like,
So,
she's
like,
not
every
saying I want
time-
repentance. She's saying I want what you agreed to.
That's what I mean. Like, I want what we agreed to. That's what I mean by repentance. And so, and we have to keep in mind also that anytime the doll speaks, it is Sabrina
Yeah, I know,
talking.
I know.
ruler right there.
So, what I'm saying.
Scenography class 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Keep going. Keep
Oh
going.
my god, you're getting distracted by things in my room. And so,
Hey, that's Rowlet keychain you got up there. That's pretty cool.
Keep going. Dennis.
Okay.
You're,
Bro, so it's better character than Sabrina.
I feel like you're
So-
trying to get to your point.
and so like, okay, so we see now that Sabrina still hasn't changed. She's and then we see that she's turned her mum into a doll, as well. We don't know for how long it is that she has been a doll. She could have been a doll. It seems like she was a doll.
It feels like it must have been since like the beginning.
A childhood, because she looks the same as from her photo. But as well as that, so we see that she's above it. She's like gone so far off the deep end that she's turned her own mother into a doll, and I guess her father has only managed to escape because he has psychic powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Ash escapes, obviously turning Brock and Misty into a doll, and so you see that like she doesn't view that as like bad because Brock and Misty were innocents in this scenario. They weren't like a part of the battle; they were just Ash's friends, and well, they got turned in the first time around as well. But so then, and obviously she kind of feels like she has domain. She doesn't like go after them, even though she has the ability to. So she just does what she wants. She doesn't feel like she doesn't have to be like this is.
Yeah, she does
fact.
what she. Yeah, we never didn't say she does.
And
what
so
she doesn't do what she wants.
So in that rematch again, like she's still operating under that same code. She's like, well, I've done this, and it shall stand. This shall stand, and this shall stand.
Yeah.
And so when she comes against Haunter and she fights, and
she makes
it makes her laugh, right? I argue that it is like an ideological battle of.
It's not a Pokemon
like, values,
battle.
but like
it's not the Pokemon battle we were
promised. It's not the battle we wanted, but
promised.
Oh, we're promised. But she makes her laugh, and finally, Sabrina, who has for all these years been like treating Pokemon, well, people and Pokemon alike as like playthings to her, decides that like
she laughs, and then you see her wave goodbye, and you can't put anything else in the middle because that's all that happens.
Pardon? We see the ghost.
Laughing.
We see the ghost girl, the embodiment, the literal embodiment of her repression, of her acting out.
It's not repression; it's her split.
Yeah, she
didn't repress that side; she split that side.
That is what repression is, though. It's like if you're splitting it away, that's you're repressing that kind of part of yourself.
No, she's allowing both sides to
coexist.
have what they want. She's not repressing it. She's split so that side can still have what it wants and she can still have what she wants. She hasn't repressed it. It's come out as something. She has her both sides.
It exists now independently.
Then
why didn't she have like another part and like a twin when she was a child?
Because it was in her when she was a child. It was when she started to
become
herself away and become obsessed with the psychic
I think
powers.
that's the thing.
So
it's
like
not
repressed.
We're like
it's a split, so she can have.
We need
both.
to like understand that like whether this
and plus
child
that's not said in the episode, so please only stick to the evidence in the episode.
Yes.
Well, we see the child that has been shown to be childish and playful and treating everyone like
this is a really long recap
treating everyone like playthings in a very sociopathic way.
It disappears.
It disappears.
And she's laughing.
Yeah.
And then she's waving.
Yeah.
Okay. And I only so
can I just continue?
Yeah, but
so
you're repeating a lot of what we've seen.
I know, because I feel like I have to reiterate this because it feels like it's not being listened to.
No, I'm fully hearing you.
So she turns everyone back to normal. She undoes everything, and then she lets them go. And she even smiles and waves at them, which is a huge departure for Sabrina in her character. Up to this point, we've never seen a smile. Like her father even remarks upon it. It just shows that huge shift. And that willingness to maybe perhaps let herself be more of a person than she was before when she was cutting that part out or splitting it or however you want to describe it. And so in that way, we see the end of that kind of character arc of this is where she was at and now she's here. We don't know where she's going to go, but it's probably better than where she was at the start.
You don't know where she was going to go. That's what Logan
That's what we're talking
about. That's what we're talking about.
That's what we want the entire time, Dennis.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We don't know where she goes.
We're not saying...
I literally agreed with everything you just said. You just did a whole round of what happens. That's what we saw. That's what we... I'm saying the reason she's not like doesn't reach any further potential
because of what you just said.
Is
we
because
don't know.
We don't know. It's like when you're writing an essay. You know what you keep asking yourself? So what? So what, Sabrina? Where are you going? Like, cool, you changed.
That's the
so
thing,
what?
though. I think that is like an issue
Lieutenant
with like
Surge
story.
changed. So what? He's gonna be a better person.
But like
AJ changed. So what? He's gonna change his training style and he's become more developed person.
The thing is, though,
Sabrina
sometimes
changed, so what?
Sometimes with a story.
No, but
such
Pokemon isn't like that. As we've seen, as they've established, I bet is it like it in the future? We always see what they're gonna do.
Yep.
the thing is, I just want to mention this. In a story, sometimes you don't need to know all the answers.
No, but
To
I'm not. Yeah,
get
exactly.
some
I can agree
satisfaction
with that.
from them.
Right, so
There's so many answers that can be left unsaid, but like how much of her is left? But we don't get anything.
I've said that we've got something.
Of the so what?
Yeah, we don't get like.
We
so
get
what?
she smiles
And changes,
and that's a little change.
But why? But
Sure.
what happens?
Okay,
yeah.
so what? She
You
becomes...
don't know.
We don't know. That's what we're saying.
Exactly.
Dennis. That's
You
the whole.
can't know that.
Look,
Well, I could argue the same for AJ. I could say maybe
no,
he
he
becomes...
says he
Yeah.
says
says he's going to
says.
change
He
his
votes
gender
just
because-
because. No, but Dennis. So you don't know. You can say that about it. You can say Ash. Oh, he wants to catch them all, and then maybe he'll change his mind. You can say Misty wants to also
Be
like
the best
be
water trainer.
the best
but
water trainer.
maybe
Okay,
she
maybe
wants to
she'll
start
change her
training
mind. You
grass
can say that
training.
about every
But
character.
I'm just
but
saying that Sabrina offers that sense of closure because you
No,
know that
she
she's
doesn't.
changed.
She
and
does not.
She will be
No,
better
don't
than
get
who
it.
she
Look,
was
look,
before.
okay.
You don't know
Right,
that.
Okay, look, listen. Listen. We agree.
Yeah,
We just
we do agree.
Listen.
Yes.
We want a sentence to know what the fuck she's gonna do next. That's all.
You're not.
Sure, she's changed. Great. What's she gonna do when she wakes up tomorrow?
Yeah,
That's what we want to fucking
You're
know.
thinking when we say
Yeah.
that we don't think
You're not
about-
acknowledging
We're not
the-
acknowledging anything else about
We're
her.
acknowledging
We're
everything about
acknowledging everything, and that we're saying they did so much build up, and there was all of that stuff that what they could have done to round this character off that we're never going to see again. Here's what she's like.
We just
or
added
here's
extra.
what she's
We
going to
added
do.
an extra
Or
hour to
is
this
she still-
episode to ask what is next, which we've been trying to do
Yeah.
for 15 minutes.
It's
What next?
it's just yeah, like they said, as the previous episodes have shown, as previous Pokemon episodes have shown, we are led to expect that sentence or two about what happens next. It's like yes, we can make assumptions, but as we've been like pretty much trained to think,
24
we-
episodes in.
yeah, that we should have that little bit, and this episode did not have that little bit. That's all discussion's about.
That's literally you don't.
We're
don't
and
take
you
it.
even-
we're
you said-
agreeing
you
with
said yourself-
everything
You're
about
saying-
Sabrina.
You said
Yeah.
yourself, it's like we don't. You even said, but we don't get. It's
All
like,
right.
You know, so that's
Okay,
it.
it's gonna be so interesting seeing what you think of the Mewtwo movie, because it's a similar kind of thing. I
No,
would
it's
say.
not. There's a resolution there.
Later on, do you mean that one or?
The main Mewtwo, the first one that came out, there was a
Yeah.
resolution there.
Oh, I suppose. Okay, I feel like we've exhausted talking
feel
about how
like-
do we feel. Do you
I
want to
feel
go
good.
over it?
This will probably cut down their argument, and
No, don't cut it
No, we
down.
can cut
Let's
it
just
down,
make it
and we can
separate.
release a full unabridged version of it for those that are interested, because that has added.
Yeah.
That when I checked the
Like half
time,
an hour.
it's literally added 50 minutes.
Okay, plug
Are you
the
so-
socials.
Wait, but like, should we like? I want to like.
How are we feeling?
Yeah,
let's
how do you-
address
I'm
this.
feeling fine.
Let's
But do you
address
see
it.
what
How
we
are
were
feeling?
saying?
I
Yeah.
do see what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I disagree.
but?
Is what I'm saying, or
But how do you
how can
disagree
you-
with what we're saying?
I disagree
We won't
because
get back into it.
I disagree because
I do want-
sometimes you don't need like a solid ending or like a
then-
conclusion
But it's-
that you can already kind of come up with your own thing for,
But
because it's
being-
ambiguous is
it's
quite
being
nice.
established that is how the series works.
Especially with a character who has no relevance or importance to the rest of the series going on.
Yeah.
Like they should have given you that.
It's like I fully see what you're saying.
Yeah, we
It's
get
like
it. We
it's
get
like the
it.
end of
like
Adventure
media-
Time. Like there's so much ambiguity about what happens next.
Yeah,
But like at least like you get like
they don't.
you get like
normally tell
you
us.
get like you get like character like arcs like resolution,
yeah.
you know. But like with this, you don't get. It feels like like her resolution was like half baked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she laughs, and that's like
And
half of her
especially
resolution.
with the potential that she had to be this.
yeah, like a 3 arc
Amazing
story
thing.
dedicated to her. With like
It's
a half-baked
unfortunately,
resolution.
It fell flat.
it felt rushed.
Yeah,
Rushed is a good word. for
because
it.
they wanted to dick around with Haunter having more fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
it felt more
I
like
think-
Ghost
Or
Pokemon.
I think
like-
all it seems to is that like in previous episodes we have seen that bit of dialogue, and that wasn't here. Therefore, we feel like we didn't have that.
feel right. Yeah,
It's like I know you're saying there are different ways to do that closure, which is like that's fair.
and it's fine. Like, but and
Totally
as,
do it,
and the
but
But just like
anime that-
from what you expect from a Pokemon episode.
Yeah,
When
I'm
the-
not saying.
it's
I'm
been
not even
established.
saying necessarily from like my personal opinion. I'm saying
Yeah,
from what Pokemon's like led me to want and like believe that they're gonna give me. It hasn't given me.
I
yet.
feel like you're going through what I went through with the Mystery at the Lighthouse episode. You know,
What?
Like the fact that like you didn't get that closure, you didn't get to see
Yeah.
the Dragonite
That's
and
fine.
stuff.
That's cool. That's actually like another thing.
But
Like
the-
the ending of the Bill episode with Dragonite. It's ambiguous, and I love that.
The
That's
difference
cool.
with that is the Dragonite never spoke. The
The
Dragonite was
Dragonite didn't have a character.
the Dragonite didn't have a character. It was a mythical creature.
Yeah.
Plus,
and that's
actually,
what you
and we
want with
know
a
why
mythical
we're never
creature.
going to see it again, because Team Rocket heard it, and it doesn't trust
Yeah.
humans anymore. You get that. You know why? Yes,
You know, I feel
yes,
like you're
you do,
drawing
because
from
it
that.
it shoots, it cries, it runs
Well,
away.
It attacks and then it runs away.
That's
Yeah.
that's not me drawing from anything. That's me seeing it
Just
happen.
saying what explicitly happens on screen.
And this, we
Yeah.
see her laugh and wave, and like that's not enough. To
And then
draw
that means that
character
she's
from.
broken down her.
Yeah, it means it's broken down, Dennis. But like, I want to know what the hell she's gonna
What's
do now that
next?
she's broken
That's
down.
the point, yeah.
Because I don't care. Cool, she's broken down from a character point of. It's like if they ended Pokemon and Ash was like, I don't really want to catch them all anymore because like he decides something. 'Cause-
PTSD.
Yeah.
and then like
You'd wonder what
and
what's he
you
gonna do
wonder
now?
what was going to happen to Ash next, but then they cut it there, and that's it.
It's
and you
like,
never
it's
know
like
what
the
Ash is going to
series
do.
finale to The Sopranos. Where,
Oh yeah.
Where we hear a mysterious, we hear the door open, there's music's going.
Spoiler alert for
yeah.
The
Oh,
Sopranos.
it's like
Don't worry.
Inception. Inception
we
might
see
be a
that
more.
we see the
like-
eyes go up and cut black.
It's like
Yeah.
Inception. Like he spins the thing, and that's a good thing because they split.
That's a good thing.
That's
of
a
it.
good one, actually,
But that's
but,
okay
like-
because it's a movie, not a TV show that's
But-
already established.
so
that that's how. The
Are you
characters
saying
work.
that Pokemon shouldn't kind of investigate or even play around with these kind of
It does
narrative
play around
story,
with other, but then
Like-
this is like
ways of telling?
Well, we're saying
an
it
ending?
failed here because
It
it's not
failed.
satisfying.
Yeah.
it's not satisfying.
And
It
maybe
tr-
that's what it
doesn't
was
work.
supposed to be. Or well, I
so
wouldn't say it was meant to be,
Pokemon
but it was probably was.
Purposely made an unsatisfying episode.
I mean, Mystery at Lighthouse was. I found that quite unsatisfying. But I mean, maybe not. But maybe it's the result of doing these kinds of stories where, this kind of structure is like so important to
I would argue that
structure.
the
is
reason-
it's so
the
rushed.
The reason why it's unsatisfying, and I'll use The Sopranos again as another example with the same ending, is because we spent 7 seasons growing to know that character. We spent 3 episodes growing to know Sabrina, to ultimately with it being ended with a wave, and that was it. We had nothing. And we can put aside, like you said, sure, you think she's a great character. I still think she's a bad character, but I'm not going to get into that because that will be another hour we'll add on to this. But I'm just going to stick with this what's next thing. We do not know.
There's no explicit
There's- yeah.
on-screen hint.
There's
And-
not
and-
even
and-
like a
ambiguity is fine. And sure, they may have tried it here. I don't think that was an intention, but they may have tried it and it fell flat and it failed. And you can't say it didn't, because sure, you can get things from it as well, but it wasn't there. It wasn't done well. If it was intentionally meant to be done, there's nothing there. There's nothing there for us to feel satisfied about with this ending, especially with just the bad episode it was in general as well. It was not good. And that's not a knock on the character.
or you, Dennis. I think you're taking
Yeah,
it.
you're
I'm not taking it personally.
We're just
I'm
saying
just
the
like
plot
trying to
structure.
argue
You're
my part.
criticizing the plot.
No, we
and
get it. We
the-
get it as well. And we're
the
arguing our
resolution.
part with you. We're arguing our part with you. But
Yeah.
we're accepting your argument and saying that we agree with you.
We agreed with everything you said. We're saying it's like you're thinking what we're saying is disregarding what like everything that you said, but it's not. We agree with everything what you said. We say for us it needs that next part.
That whole talk through you did,
Yeah.
you fully agreed with everything.
So then I guess
I
it's
did,
just
but I don't
like
like the character, so that's fine.
it's like I think the issue is that it's like a subjective. Yeah, it's like a subjective thing. Like whether what you got from that ending was very much like
Why don't we do a
Subjective.
poll?
yeah.
You know,
If you reach it this far,
If you get to this part and
First of all-
if you have opinions on congratulations.
yeah, we will pay you to continue to listen.
Thank you for getting to this end of the episode.
oh my god,
Please,
Please don't unsubscribe.
please, like actually, if you got to this point and if you just want to say who you agree with,
I mean,
or put in your 2
put in your
cents,
2 cents.
if,
Yeah.
if anything,
please actually just message us
Yeah,
on
message us
Facebook.
on Facebook.
On the Dexperience page.
If anything, for the listeners out there, this at least shows that we
my-
truly are passionate about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
True.
That
Wow.
we are loving
And
what we
like-
are doing.
And this is kind of
And
the
we're
reason why we
enjoying
did
it.
this was
Yeah.
because like you've got people like you've got something like Dennis grew up watching it, and obviously so his like Sabrina's like love and like idea
Stem-
of what she
yeah.
does.
Sabrina love.
Idea of what she does next
Yeah.
has
And
been
it's-
formed over what, like 20 years?
Yeah.
It's the
Is
same
it
with,
20
It's
years?
the same with me as
Yeah,
well.
probably.
Yeah,
I
20
grew up watching it too, and I still don't like Sabrina.
I mean, that's fine.
But yeah, like,
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
fine.
yeah,
You
but
can't
like
But
20
different
years.
opinions is what makes
And it's
it
like,
great.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
me and Oliver only just started watching this, and I'm saying from like watching it for the first time as like a 20-something-year-old, which is way older than when you were when you first
Yeah.
watched it.
Oh, he's pretty old.
It's like, because Dennis was 6, I'm 20. It's 15 years different. And it's like it's unsatisfying.
Yeah, I felt that too.
But I still
I, I don't disagree that it was
I think you could have,
unsatisfying.
like, made
the
this
battle
arc-
and
I think
like,
for this
everything.
arc, they either should have made it like another episode, like 4 or 5 episodes, or they should have condensed. I think Sabrina would have been like. I actually would have been happy with this Sabrina ending
Just the one.
if this
episode.
arc was 1 or 2 episodes.
Yep.
I think, oh, yep, cool, that's Sabrina. But it's the fact she was built up so much, and she was such a big challenge that she was like,
Another episode where Misty and Brock stayed as dolls, and we got that ended, and Ash goes back and like learns to bond with Haunted, and like, let's do this, man. Stop dicking about. Let's actually just fight. And then they have this awesome fight together. And then Sabrina realizes the error of her ways through this fight somehow. I don't know. I'm not a.
Well, probably Haunter probably fights comedically, right?
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
that makes
probably.
her laugh.
It gives it a little giggle.
Even
If they
that
wanna
would have
stick
been
with that
probably
bullshit
better.
ending.
I
But
there,
yeah.
there was all the backstory of the parents. Just seeing like some acknowledgement.
exactly, yeah,
between-
seeing like I think that would have
There's all that backstory of the
would have been
parents,
enough.
right? Yeah.
I think that would have been enough for
It
me.
was a
like,
like a hug.
for like
Parents.
even like seeing the dad and
Just seeing
seeing
a hug.
like, and like
parents.
another almost recreation of like the photo
The
that like
photo.
was showing like constantly.
Some physicality.
Like another recreation-y type thing like that. That would have been so satisfying.
I argue that the parents were not victimless in this situation.
but Dennis,
but that's like
they had
that's some
kids,
personal kind
and
of
they were
fan
like-
canon.
and they were like it said like they were trying to like get her to make friends. She said no. She destroyed their house.
Yeah.
I feel like even if you don't think they're victimless, she had some major overreaction. Yes, Harry?
We're getting back into this
Dennis,
again.
can you please plug the socials?
Let's plug the
Okay,
socials and say
so
goodnight. What
next-
was your unsung hero? Basculin. Basculin.
Next episode, Primate goes bananas.
Just like we fucking have tonight.
Can I say that's a horrible title?
Dennis, please plug the socials.
Okay, there's no I just want to say that
You
we
team Logan or you team Dennis?
I just want to say that we argue, but we're like close friends, so
yeah,
like,
of
it's
course.
not
We're
gonna.
not gonna go
We're not
Don't
like.
worry about it.
hate
So
each
you
other.
might have heard
is the last
that there's a
episode.
lot of like.
We've known each other all for 3+
So,
years.
it's like
We're
it's fine. We're fine.
If we're gonna argue, there will be fisticuffs.
I mean, just the other day we were arguing about blankets.
In
Let's
two
not get
days.
into that.
You guys should have seen Tangled. The argument they had over
You were
Tangled.
just playing Smash.
Oh my God.
days.
Mario Party.
Oh.
So we've got like a Misty and Ash dynamic. What do you say?
Ash and Misty. I'd say. Let's-
I'm actually I
Yeah.
don't mind being
Yeah, there
Misty.
you go.
Okay, so follow us on Dexperience on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, where it could be under Dexperience Podcast. Thank you. If you listen to that
Oh
whole
wow, good on you.
if you listen to that whole argument,
Tell us and we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah,
thank you.
We'll shout you out.
Give you
We'll buy you an amiibo.
hopefully like your blood pressure hasn't been raised. Maybe we'll like edit it down for like 10 minutes.
I
later.
reckon.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think edit down and we can release an
Yes.
unabridged
Like,
version.
oh yeah, probably. Like, if you want to listen to the full
You can
argument,
make it a YouTube exclusive.
Email us at the Dexperiencepodcast at gmail.com. That's the Dexperience.
That's the Dexperience.
Email, at Dexperience Podcast.
If you
at
have
gmail.
any good links for good therapy,
Um,
send it through there as well.
If you're listening during the day, I hope you have the good rest of your day.
and if you're listening to this at night,
Stop
I hope-
stealing Logan's thing.
if you're listening in the night, have a good night.
Good time.
Goodbye, Dexter.
Bye, Dexters.
Justice for Sabrina!
Fuck.
Wow.
Wow. What happened?
Guys.
Experience. Your dreams.
Dexperience.
Everything